Welcome to the road to the NHC. We are your guide to mastering the art of handicapping and securing your spot in the National Horse Players Championship. Whether you're a seasoned player or new to the game, this series is designed to help you sharpen your skills and understand the strategies that it takes to get into the NHC in Las Vegas. It's a lot of fun. Hopefully you'll join us and we'll show you how to qualify for the NHC. We've already had a bunch of people do it. And of course, 2022 NHC champion David Harrison is my partner. Good morning, senor.
Good morning, Mr. McKeever. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing good. I'm sitting here. I'm in Coral Springs, Florida, sitting outside the lake and the golf course. And I'm not sure if I'd rather be at the track today or maybe I'm in the perfect spot.
Jeez, you're living the life, my friend. I'm sitting in a basement in Rochester. But I have to tell you, we're having a great stretch of weather here. It's in the 80s, light humidity, and it's supposed to be that way the entire weekend into the middle of next week. Actually, September is usually the best month here. Yeah. So, it's nice and dry. So you were doing good. You were doing good. But
are you feeling the withdrawals of Saratoga being done?
Yeah, it's always kind of a depressing day, that last day, Labor Day. Then also the kids go back to school. It's like the end of summer. And it's a double whammy when Saratoga has started ending their meet on Labor Day. But especially when I used to live there, because I used to go and you kind of get depressed. It's like,
I get it.
All right, well, and just so I combat that depression with taking a break. Naira took a break. I took a break from last Saturday on. And I didn't play any races, didn't look at anything. So I feel fresh. I'm ready to go. And let's slam away, pick some winners. And happy Friday the 13th, TGIFF. And I will make one statement.
I don't know why I didn't realize that. You're right. It is Friday the 13th.
It is. And it's my lucky day, believe it or not, I think. The first time I ever hit a pick six was years ago. It happened to be at Belmont on Friday the 13th.
Well, speaking of pick sixes, you heard in Southern California, the $2 pick six is back. Yes.
I know you're looking forward to that.
I am definitely looking forward to that. Like I don't know how long ago it was, but it's got to be 10, 12 years ago since they took that away. I think it was one of the biggest mistakes that horse racing has made, because the energy of the pick six was just so incredible. I hope we can get that back. Horse racing needs that. Those big pools, the excitement of being able to play for big money, even for the small players. Of course, they put in tickets to try to hit those, to try to hit a score of a lifetime. Why not? Like, it's just the best feeling in the world. And so, but what's up, Dan? Justin in the house.
Hey, Justin. Yeah.
Justin and I did the stakes weekend preview show yesterday. And so if you didn't get a chance to see that and you want to see some of our picks, we liked a lot of horses that are running today and tomorrow. We didn't do Sunday. But exciting. Makanga, who, I own a small percentage of, was scratched in favor of a big race tomorrow. You're going 11 furlongs. I forget the name of the stakes race, but it's $350,000 grade 3. And I think they made the right call, because the SOR in that race is a 66. Like, that is a really, really low number for a grade 3 race, and it's $350,000, and she's by far the speed of the race. So it's just going to be a matter. Hopefully, Dutro has her relaxing, but she's 8-1 on the EE morning line and the odds makers morning line. So we'll see what happens. What's going on, Mike? How are you? Happy Friday to you. It's a beautiful day here in Florida.
Yeah. Thanks for joining, Mike. Good to see you, my friend.
All right. So listen, if you want to I'm playing in the feeder. $18 it cost me. I'm going to do it. And so I handicapped all 6 feeder races, as I know you always do. So we got the first 3 races at Gulfstream Park and the first 3 races at Belmont at the Big A. There's a BAQ abbreviated. And so we have about 45 minutes to do these 6 races. You ready to go?
I'm ready to roll, my friend. Let's get it rolling.
Okay. Let's get the race pulled up here. Okay, we're ready to go. Let's run this thing.
Okay.
So the first race we've got here is a maiden claimer for $16,000. These are fillies that are 2 years old. Nice purse of $27,000, a mile and 70 on the synthetic. Initially over the last few years, David, when I would watch these races, I would tell you that 90% of the time the horses came from behind, but it seems to have evened out a little bit. So I liked that. I liked feeling like I had an advantage, knowing that I needed to look for a horse that was going to come from behind. But I don't really believe that's the case anymore. So that makes it a little bit tougher. And in fact, if you're ever going to play a track and a surface, you should really look to see what post positions win a lot of times. Whatever the surface is, like, do front runners tend to do well? That type of thing. It's important, because I will tell you from my experience, David, especially on synthetic tracks, speed, you have to be near the lead, and you can't really come from too far back. And you know what? I would argue with you that holds true on everything, but probably the turf, right? I think the turf is a little bit more forgiving for closers.
Well, Scotty, what I noticed being down at Gulfstream a number of times this winter on the Tapeta, and again, I was learning the Tapeta. I was kind of resistant in the beginning, but hey, it's part of the race. Hey, a lot of times I'll play horizontals, and they're part of the races, so I've got to deal with them. And I've noticed the only time there's a real bias that I could pick up on a Tapeta, when it was raining and there was a lot of moisture on that track, it seemed like they would just, the fractions, the times were just much faster, and it was really, really tough to close. So that's the only time I wouldn't play a closer, when it was clearly a wet day. And but other than that, I think generally I would conclude, agree with you that I'd want to be close to the pace, and I don't mind the outside post there going 2 turns on the Tapeta,
I mean,
where I would mind the outside post on the dirt.
When you look and you see, horses that are, a 1 from with a pace number. So look at that pace number. When you see those low numbers like that, I mean, the chances of them winning are very, very low, because they're at the mercy. There's 3 types of horses. And I was just talking about this. Who was I? I was somebody, I forget, yesterday. And that is, you either need to be on or near the lead. That's the, front runners. You are a closer, or you're tactical, right? That's it. And that makes the difference, knowing that what kind of style a horse has, and then also, how, of course, the race is going to play out. So based on that style, it's super, super important. And then the other factor, of course, is the GSR is very important to know whether a horse is bred to do something, right? Does he have an affinity for this or something else? So those things make a difference. I would argue with you that, if you know those things, you don't need to know much else. So we're going to show you how to qualify for the National Horse Players Championship. I don't know, David, we've had 4 or 5 people qualify for Vegas here in next March. It's pretty exciting to see. And we have a lot of people that are playing in the feeders and the qualifiers now too. Mike is a prime example of that.
Yeah. I see Mike's. That's fantastic that we've had about 4 people qualify. I see Mike's name all the time close to that leaderboard. He's usually above me these days.
I know, me too.
Yeah. But and now it's the second half of the tour season, right? So the first half, I got a little bit of a surge myself. So I will be playing, right? I think it was in 23rd or 25th going into this week. So the top 20, is it 25? I think it's the top 20, right? Yeah. You get cash for the yearly. But so keep playing away, plugging away, building up those tour points.
I haven't played in a couple of weeks. I have not played in a couple of weeks. I felt like I needed a break.
Yeah.
And then they do have a few rules that, when you start like getting in the money, then they start changing the rules a little bit, where you have to hit a certain amount of points and beat some of the points you had prior. Do you know much about that?
Yeah, well, that's the first half leaderboard, and I was a little frustrated with that too, because I was creeping right up. That's why I played, and I had a second or a third in that contest a couple of weeks ago at Kentucky Downs, and I thought I'd get more tour points, but it's the top 4 scores on the first half, and I'm like, okay, well, what if you had more than 4 scores and you had 6 or 7 that were decent, that you're only counting the top 4, right? So
they told me it's the top 7. What happened is that about 2 weeks ago, I was like, I don't know, 7th or 8th in a tournament, and I knew I was going to get points, and I looked and I'm like, I didn't get any tour points, and I called them and talked to them, and they said it's this rule that I have to get a certain amount of points in that tournament. I mean, so basically I would have to win or come in second in order to get any points at all. And I don't know that I agree with it. I think I understand a little bit why they're doing it, because maybe they're worried about one person or a few people just being so good at it they just dominate it. But for me, you're putting a lot of money into trying to qualify for these things, right? It's not free.
No.
And then when you get in the top 10% and they don't give you any points, I don't know. It turned me. I haven't played in 2 weeks since I found that out. So it kind of, last time I checked, I was in 5th, but I have not checked in 2 weeks. So if I can, get to the qualifier from these feeders, then who knows? Maybe I'll
Well,
put it in.
I think the one thing is in order for a contest to award tour points, there's got to be 2 NHC seats given. So was that a case there was only 1 NHC seat, and so there wouldn't be any tour points at all? I'd learned that too over the last couple of years. So some of the higher end qualifiers, I'm like, well, if there's no tour points, I'm not playing. So.
Well, yeah, I mean, the thing is, if I have to win or come in second just to get points, it doesn't make any sense. To me, anyways. Right. Now, most people are not going to have to worry about that problem. So it's a lot of fun if you can get your first seat, and you're not trying to. We're just talking about the tour here, basically trying to be, the top of the tour. It won't affect most people. So, but I did, if I'm being, honest, I lost a little bit of steam with that rule.
Yeah, no, I don't blame you. I don't blame you, because it's not easy. Chasing the tour is very time consuming, and it gets a little frustrating. So just try to get your second seat. Forget about the tour. Just focus on getting your second seat.
No, that's exactly what I'm doing. Exactly. That's exactly right. And let me tell you something. I was pushing for it because, I was in the lead for so much this year, and right there. And you get caught up in it, and then you start putting some pressure on yourself. And I was like, I was doing that, and I'm like, I'm watching the race, everyone and stuff. And the one thing I don't want to, and this is why I created EquinEdge in the first place, is I don't want it to consume me, David. Nothing should consume you in your life. In order to have a really good life, not to get too serious, but you do have to have balance. And when you feel like, you know what I mean? And when you do feel like something is consuming you, that's when you need to catch yourself and back off. And I can tell you, as somebody that's almost 60 years old, there's been times in my life where it just consumes you. And that's when it becomes not good. If you don't let it consume you, it's just amazing. I have one seat already, Justin. I don't have the second one. I'm sorry. Go ahead, David.
Right. And I've got 2. But the thing is, I found when it starts consuming me, that's when I take a break. I'll take breaks throughout the year. I just took I was very light the last 2 weeks. I had I don't like to toot my own horn, but I was on a pretty much of a roll, so it was kind of tough to take a break. But when Naira takes a break, and I was going to take a break with Kentucky Downs, but I got wrapped up in those contests, and I did very well. And I made some actually my biggest ROI of this year so far. And you want to guess the track is Kentucky Downs.
Well, yeah, I mean that's an easy one, but you still have to get some winners out of that. So that's still really good. But I mean the average. I can't even imagine what the average winner paid over at Kentucky Downs.
Yeah. Scotty, that's because I only paid like 15 races. I probably played 1,500 at Naira this year.
So that's fair. All right, so let's go rolling. 35 minutes. You ready for some speed handicapping?
I am set to go, brother. I've got all the winners on the paper already, so I'm on my notes, so I'm ready to go.
All right. So what do you think of this first time starter? I mean, sometimes when you have a race that looks wide open, it doesn't look like anybody wants to win. Take the first time starter, the only first time starter in the race. JoJo's gone, and it happens to be the top EquinEdge pick. What do you make of this one?
Yeah, Scotty, I'm not a huge fan of betting first-time starters going 2 turns on any surface. So it's a horse I would fade. I'm a big fan of Good Samaritan. Back in the day, I did very well with that horse, and his horse has produced some decent runners. So really in a race like this, where I think it's so wide open, there's not really any major pace factors here. I'm looking for a horse that's got a little bit of experience. And the I mean, this is a maiden 16 claimer. They don't get much lower than this for 2-year-olds. So I kind of just focused, just to save some time here, I focused on 2 horses I was interested in.
Okay.
And basically it's the 2 drop downs. I'll start in order of post position. Number 2, Eleanor Rigby, piqued my interest a bit. This horse, she started her career on the turf at 7.5, maiden 35, open company. There's a Kentucky bred. And, you know, she didn't really run very well the first time out. But again, to me, a first time out is a prep race for most of these horses, right? Mm-hmm. So, and she was fractious supposedly in the gate. Then the second time they stretched her out to 1.70 miles. So she's been over this distance on this surface, maiden 35,000. And she ran a little better, blinkers on. Now you get blinkers second time. She drops way down, drops in half to 16K. I think she's real live here, and she's a big contender. And the other horse that I focused on was the other drop down is the 5. Who do you like here? Yeah. Blinkers on. First start was on the dirt course at 5.5, July 6th. She's a Florida bred, so she was in a restricted state bred maiden special weight. So she drops down to open company 16. Didn't really lift a hoof in that race. But again, it's a prep race, tougher race, drops way down to 16 in open company. So I'm going to go with my top pick, the 2, Eleanor Rigby over the 5, only because Eleanor Rigby is an open. She's a Kentucky bred, ran in open company maidens against the Florida bred. So it's going to be 2-5 for me. 2 is my primary, 5 is my secondary.
So one of the things that I look for in lightly raced horses, maidens especially, is are they trying against better horses? So when I look at the 4 horse for Carlos David, what I see is if you look here, and this horse against a 48 SOR group in her first start was only 5.5 lengths back at the stretch. And then you come over here at the next race, and this horse was ranked at the first call and was 2.5 lengths back at the half, and then the stretch 6.5 lengths back. These are all, like, to me, these are good signs. Now the win percentage goes up, the GSR does drop, and I was concerned about that. But the highest GSR in the race is 49, the 2 horse that you like. So I thought the 4 horse is probably going to be the horse to beat. I didn't love the 5. They're adding blinkers. They're dropping big, off a little bit of a layoff. Zayas jumps aboard, but it's okay. I think this horse is just okay. I will say this. The 1 horse might be a horse that we shouldn't be ignoring because it's 14% to win, 7-2 on the EE morning line, and it broke bad. Head was turned at the start. There's really no way of knowing, honestly. But what I will say is with that break, head turning, at the half mile, the horse is only 5.5 lengths back, and now it's 14% to win, and the GSR goes up 7 points. So the 1 horse could break out of this gate on top and even have the lead and be tough going gate to wire. So, you know what I mean? So for me, I had narrowed it down to 3 horses, and I hadn't chose yet. I have 2 entries, and it's going to be the 1, 4, or 8. So I'm probably leaning as my top pick to the 1.
Okay, wow, we're on a totally different pages here. Yeah, and the 1 comes out of the same race as the 2 on July 28th, and the 2 finished 6th, and the 1 finished 5th, which really, I mean, they were right close to each other. They both had trouble. So yeah, either one of them are eligible to improve. So I could see the 1. Yeah, I could see the 1.
All right.
And again, the 4 drops down also from 35. So
let's go to race number 2. Okay. I mean, look, the 2 is going to go off, not at 7-5. The 2 is going to end up going off at 2-5, probably. Is there one of the first time starters maybe you think could beat this 2 horse?
Yeah, I looked at it. It looks like the 2, based on the last workout on September 6th and having a race over the course where it had a little bit of a traffic issue. This horse is so logical, right? I mean, if this horse runs back to its last race, the likely winner. With that being said, this horse is most likely going to be even money or less, or as old you would like to say, it's going to be 1-to-1 or less. So, I mean, yeah, I was back and forth. So I gave a look, Scotty, at the 6, a little bit Skull Honor. And I just want to reiterate and check again with this 6 horse, what the GSR was, because I'm not sure the breeding is
44. It's 44.
Yeah,
but none of the breeding is that good. I mean, the 2 horses is 60,
no.
but I don't know that I would let the GSR affect me in any way.
Yeah, so I prefer, if I'm just going to do a speed handicapping issue here, or I mean, I'd rather bet a Bocherio over a Honor AP on turf first time. But with that being said, Barboza's got 2, right? He's got the 2 that's going to be the favorite. Also, he's got the 6, which interests me a little bit, Skull Honor. This horse is working pretty steady. And, I mean, the first time Venezuela is Gold was bet at 8-to-1 in an 8-horse field and had a nice third. So what's wrong with another first-timer for Barboza, figuring this horse can run pretty well first time out? So just for the price alone, I narrowed it down to the 2 and the 6. So for the contest, I'm going to go with the 6 as my primary, Skull Honor, first-time starter on the turf, over the 2. Venezuela is Gold.
It's interesting, though. Look at the jockey-trainer combination of for Barboza and Gill. It's 0 for 5, 0 for 5. Mm-hmm. And with Gonzalez, they're 27% in 66 races. So Gonzalez is his main guy. I mean, there's no way in heck you could convince me to take the 2 horse here. There's no way.
That swayed me over the top, to be honest with you. Yeah. You
know what I mean? And how many times do you see these second-time starters who run so good first time out? Let me ask you a question too. If you have a horse that you own or you train and it runs as good as this horse ran first time out, why are you not protecting this horse next time out or putting it for a higher claiming tag? Why is it still at the same level? To me, it speaks volumes. I think there's reason to be a little bit suspect of this horse, especially when you're talking about so many first-time starters. No, I think the 6-horse Skull Honor, who's 5-2, by the way, on the EE Morning Line, is a horse that has to be looked at. I made a note here on this 5-horse. It's 3-1 on the EE Morning Line. I'm not worried about the win percentage, David, because the 2 horse has taken so much of the win percentage. And I'll give you one more horse to consider, and it is a long shot. But this horse, the 4-horse, welted in its first start. And it's still only lost by 5.5 lengths. Now, it's either a really weak race or that was a pretty good performance. So at the end of the day, though, I have to go with the connections of the 6-horse Skull Honor. I have to go with the 6.
Okay, so it's 6 for Scotty, and we're on the same page. How about that?
Yep.
Okay.
All right. So
we're all right. 6 for Scotty. I'll lock him in. All right.
All right. You're on the 6 as well.
Correct.
Okay. Race number 2. Okay. Let's go to race number 3. We have 26 minutes before the first leg of the feeder. In fact, let me I'm putting in my plays real quickly here. Gulfstream Park 1. I'm going with
I put mine in already, so I'm good. I just wanted to make sure I didn't get under the gun, and it was kind of like sweating it out a couple of weeks ago. I'm like, oh, I almost missed it.
Let's see here, and then the second race, we're both going with the 6-horse. No, that was let's see here. We're going with the 6-horse Skull Honor, and let's see here. 6. Okay. All right, got those 2 in. All right, race number 3 here. This is an interesting horse. I have a note here on this last performance for Mr. American, the 2-horse, David. Very poor trip at the rail. And there's not much else in here. What were your thoughts in this race?
Yeah, I thought the 2 was quite interesting. I mean, I noticed this horse had the rail post, and if you look at the comment, angled out belatedly. So this horse was to me, I didn't watch in all honesty, I didn't watch the replay of this race, but I'm assuming that this horse had the rail post, couldn't get out, and finally got out and made a belated run as the favorite. But this horse off the layoff had raced for 16,000, non was a 2, and now this is an 8,000, non was a 3. Then dropped down to 8 and won that race in the same company last race on August 16th. Just had, hey, maybe the post wasn't good. The horse was pinned in. You mentioned the trouble line. So, yeah, this horse is logical. The one thing, Scotty, that worries me is the 2 for 18. But then again, this horse now has been in $8,000 claimers the last 2 races. This is probably where this horse belongs. So I think with a better trip here and Gonzalez stays, which is a good good indicator that this horse is probably live. So yeah, the 2 is very interesting. So I'm using the 2 as my primary pick, and then I started this. The 4 is got a shot. The 6 has got a shot. But the horse that I'm most afraid of here, Scotty, is the 7 Grand Maxine. This horse drops down from a $35,000 optional claimer to bottom of the barrel here at $8,000. So off that drop alone, I think this horse is live. So for me in this race, I'm going to use the 2 as my primary, and if I had my secondary pick would be Grand Maxime. The 7.
I don't know. There's something about the 7 horse I really don't like. First of all, speed holes in the sprint races here, and when you go to the second call, I mean, this horse is going to be, not going to be very close. It's going to be probably 2 or 3 lengths back at the beginning of the race, and that's just not a great place to be. And you're only 10% to win. Now, if this horse had bigger win percentage or something, then maybe I would look at it. The other thing I will say is, yes, it was a way better field than what this horse faced last time out. Last time out, I mean, was a much better field. But the horse didn't really run in the race. So I don't really give the horse credit for that. What I give the horse credit for is 2 back, 16,000 claimer, which was a 48 SOR. Today's a 50 SOR. Sano, here's the other thing. Sano is 2% with first time back. So I don't really love the 7. I think that, the 6 horse Calypso Charlie has to be a horse we have to look out. What's wrong with this horse? I mean, it's, and so I think even though it shows as a 50 SOR for today's race, when I look at the past performances, I think that maybe the system is giving, because of the 7, it's inflated, and the 7 isn't a 60. So I'm thinking that all these horses are pretty similar, and which one has the style to win. And I'm going to take, the horses that are tactical. Here's the thing. If the 4 is ready to go, the 4 goes gate to wire. But here's the problem. 1, you have a 5% jockey. 2, I mean, it took this horse forever to get out of the non-winners of 2 condition. But the thing is, and also this horse needs the lead. The problem for me is this horse really is not that great of a breaker. And if it doesn't break good and it doesn't clear, then it's screwed. And then who's the horse? Calypso Charlie, who you could even get 3, 4, 5 to 1 on. So is it really worth betting the 4 who's going to go off at 8 to 5 to 2 to 1, maybe 5 to 2? I think the 6 is the play. So I'm going with the 6.
All right. Scotty's going with Calypso Charlie. And again, yeah, that horse, Calypso Charlie, dropped from a 16,000 claimer and is now in the right spot too. So yeah, this horse is it's probably a pretty close race, right? It's pretty tight. You would figure whoever wins this race is not going to be by 5 lengths, that's for sure. So so I lock you in at number 6, Calypso Charlie. All right, let's go to Belmont. We've got 3 races over at Belmont that we have to cover, and bear with me. I've been having a little bit of internet issues. I hear you. They can call it Belmont, but it's run at Aqueduct. So yeah, I know. Hey. Let's see here. So we're gonna just go here real quick, and then we'll go to race number 1. All right. Okay, race number 1. Here we go. Let's run this thing. All right. Yeah, let me just change my track here. Belmont at the Big A. $32,000 7
Call it the
furlong
big A.
race.
Call it the big A.
The big A.
So the 3-horse backed by Gold won a 12-5 claim or 2 back, and now the horse is in for $32,000. I don't know. I just didn't really love this horse. I did think this race was wide open, but then you look at the 4-horse who was claimed by Potts. I mean, I'm not a fan of Potts. Only 11% trainer, so many starts. But he might have got a good claim here. The purse is good. They look like they can get a lot of their money back here with a win. Irad decides to jump aboard. Looks realistically spotted. The win percentage goes up. And the race simulator has the horse winning by a couple of lengths. So I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I originally, when I was handicapping the races today, Scotty, I'm like, I'm going to go with a trend. I'm just going to avoid Irad in every case because he's always overbet. So I'm like, it's a contest. I mean, obviously, some of the Irad horses you have to include in your horizontals, but for contest purposes, I'm trying to avoid him. It's not going to work all day. You'll see how it goes. But yeah, and so I'm always looking for some kind of angle. And the one horse that really stuck out at me here, and I got a big concern with this horse also, is the 6 Royal Poppy. This horse makes a lot of sense based on just the drop down alone. But here are the concerns. I mean, this horse for Ray Handel had a really good, a solid Saratoga meet, and he didn't ship this horse up. Okay. So this horse only ran on July 8th. Now, we don't know what happened. The horse was moved down from Aqueduct to Pimlico on May 18th, didn't run so well, then raced at Park. So the going out of town was concerning me here. And we don't know what the issue is. Maybe the horse wasn't, maybe it had a slight injury or they're giving it a break, didn't ship it up to Saratoga. So now this horse is in a spot, 32 claimer. This horse should be live. And based on the pace projection, this horse should have the lead. And my concern was, does she really want to go 7? The time she went 7, she had a clear lead and no one really pressed her. It was an easy victory, February 19th. And I'm like looking at the other speed and I'm like, she might get the same exact trip that she got in that race. So to me, she's a use, either first or second, but I'm always looking for some kind of wise guy angle here. And here we go. You ready for the wise guy angle?
Yeah. Bring it.
Take a look at the 5 Hazardous Humor. Note the jockey, Chris Elliott, who is actually Stuart Elliott's son. And this is his first journey to New York racing. Okay. The New York NYRA circuit, he's racing there this fall. And he broke his maiden. I did some research. He broke his maiden at Lone Star and was racing at Monmouth and won some races. I think a total of 7 races. And the key is this: he's a 7-pound bug, Scotty. So he comes in, look at the weight, 114 pounds, too good for me to resist. I heard some good things through the grapevine, doing some research. I actually made a call to somebody, name not disclosed. And he said, this effing kid can ride, man. And I'm like, all right, that's good enough for me. So I like, again, Wayne Potts. I have a story about Wayne Potts at the NHC, but I'm not going to go there for time constraints. He stayed on the same floor in 2021. Yeah, so we had a conversation about one of his horses. So he's a straight shooter. I think they're primed for this meet. They didn't do so well in Saratoga. But off the claim, if you look, the last race, this horse had a big improvement, but was claimed by from Michael Gorham. Has raced a couple of times at Aqueduct. I think this horse can get 7. It's raced at a mile before and actually won at Delaware and had a second on a mile. So 7 should be no problem. So with the weight advantage, I'm going with Hazardous Humor and my new favorite apprentice jockey, Chris Elliott, not the comedian, by the way. He's not the Chris Elliott. So don't look for a Chris Elliott, the comedian. Is Chris Elliott the jockey. So 5 Hazardous Humor over the 6 Royal Poppy.
Well, I think that I'm glad that's great information about Chris Elliott. So don't have to be afraid about using him. That being said, for me, I can't see it because this horse needs the lead or needs to be near the lead. Its style is to be near the lead, and it's going to go. He's most likely going to send, and the 6 is sending. and the 6 is on the outside of the 5, and then the 3 sending. It's the 3 needs the lead, and so the 5 could get caught up in the middle of both these horses. I can't see it. I just can't. I think the race 100% sets up for the 6 is going to probably be wide. The jockey's going to have to make a choice whether he sits back, but either way, he's going to have to go fast early. At 100% sets the race up for the 4 Willow Bend and Irad. So I'm on.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm on that.
Okay, so I like one Wayne Potts, and you like the other. So it's 5 Hazardous Humor for me over Royal Poppy, and for Scotty, it's Willow Bend, the other Potts horse.
Yep.
All right.
Yep. Oh, I didn't change that. Okay, hold on. I'm so sorry, you guys. Nobody said anything to me. If that happens, let me know. I had to switch screens. This is what we were looking at here. I'm sorry. So here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Let me know if I do that again. I just trying to do producer and handicap and chat I guess it became too much. So anyways, here it is. You can see my notes. Potts on the 5 horse, jockey trainer combinations over 9. Potts is just not good off the. No, he's better. I'm sorry. Potts is 16% off the claim though. The 6 horse been competing against tougher. Sits a very nice trip from the outside with Davis, and this horse was training at Saratoga, right? Like you said. So you know, why he didn't run at Saratoga, I don't, or she didn't run at Saratoga, I don't know. I'm a little bit worried with the speed in here that the race doesn't play out for her, even though she's on the outside, and even though she can rate a little bit, and even though she is dropping in class. On paper, the 6 is absolutely the horse to beat, but at a 53% horse that we can get 5-2 or 3-1 on, Willow Bend, I got to take that. Even if it's a Wayne Potts horse, I've had nothing personal against Wayne Potts. It's just that I have a problem with trainers that run so many horses and have such a big barn and they win at such a low rate. For me, that's you're destined to be losing betting on barns like that. That being said, this horse is realistically spotted. You know, it always has a good win percentage, and it's only won one of those races. So, but I do think that the trip sets up for this horse, and this horse has won its only start at 7 furlongs. So I'm going to go with the 4 horse Willow Bend. If I wasn't, yep, and if it wasn't for that horse, I would go for the 6 horse for sure. All right.
Okay, so 4 Willow Bend.
All right, let's go to race number 2.
I just also, for anybody playing Churchill, it's sloppy there. All right, race number 2.
Race number 2. There's a lot of cheap speed here, in my opinion, lined up, especially between the 6 and the 7 horse. They are going to be flying up front. So, and that's not in my mind, it's not necessarily a positive, because it sometimes when that happens, it makes the race wide open. It opens it up for closers where you could try to eliminate those horses. Now, the 1 horse is going to win the race simulator by a couple of lengths. And at first glance, I'm thinking, I got to go with this 1. And I look, and the horse is 27% here, and it was bumped up to the break and was in the 6th path and went wide. And then, but the horse went from 5.5 on the turf and then to 8 furlongs on the dirt. You know, these things. And now it's going 8.5 going long. Like, I'm just saying, like, the horse has got to be confused as hell. I'm confused just looking at its past performances. You?
Yeah, I thought this horse had a shot here. Again, we're going 1 1/16 on the turf for state bred fillies and mares. The 2-year-old horses, so they're lightly raced. A lot of them are stretching out, and there's a bunch of first-time starters. So, like I had mentioned before, these 2-year-old races, I prefer someone who's raced before rather than the first-time starters. Yeah, this horse 5.5 furlongs. Did make up some ground, but that race on August 21st was carded for the turf. So they still ran with this race coming off the turf and had a decent second, but trouble lines both starts, and this horse is an obvious contender, and I think someone you would have to use in any horizontals. So I started looking around, and we've got the Chad Brown first timer on the outside, Brian and Cooper, and then Grayson Grit, the other first timer. So you got one Slumber, one Munnings, but I'll let those horses beat me. I'll give them a first time going 2 turns. Let them beat me. The horse I showed an interest in that I'm actually settled on, it landed on here, is the 4 Infatuation, not Infatuation. This horse, I just want to look again at the GSR though before I confirm.
It's low.
Yeah, this horse is by the factor Warfront. It must be the dam. But yeah, when you compare Brian and Cooper, the 8s, GSR at 88, I mean, then how could you not use that horse? But with that being said, this horse did have a 5.5 furlong tune-up race and didn't really lift a hoof, but was off slow. Now stretches out, picks up Dylan Davis, who's riding in his career form here. So. Yes. And then basically I'm settling on somebody who's morning line 12-1. I want a little bit of a price. So I'm going to go with the 4 Infatuation, Scotty, over the 8 Brian and Cooper. I think it was a tough call for a secondary pick between the 1 and the 8 for me. But based on that 88 GSR, which towers over this field, I would have to use that horse somehow. So 4 Infatuation as my primary, and number 8, Brian and Cooper, for my secondary pick.
It's so funny. I'm smiling because.
Go ahead.
No, because you hit these things. I couldn't disagree with you more.
I kind of figured that was the smile I was for.
Yeah, but the amount of times that you get these horses home, you are so good on the turf with these 2-turn races. Like you just are with races like this that look so difficult. But Bryant and Cooper, okay, first of all, the sire was all turf. I mean, this horse is so much more classier. Look at the sire. I mean, 27 races, $1.48 million on the turf. Slumber was. Wait Your Turn was a classy horse, but ran on the dirt. The workouts are tremendous. It did work out against a horse named Dr. Glick the other day, and Dr. Glick bested Bryant and Cooper. Dr. Glick, though, got a 3rd place finish over at Saratoga in his only start, her only start, or his only start. I'm not sure. I looked it up, and that was against Open Company. And so, and I can't get by that 88 GSR. Like, there's just nothing else in here. This race is not. These horses are not bred all that well. I think the 3 horse has some decent breeding, but. For the turf. And maybe the 3 horse is the type of horse you should be looking at closely, although it's got a low win percentage. But man, 8.5 furlong races, these long distance turf races, by the most part, just give me the horse with the GSR. I got to believe that somehow, I just got to believe that Brian Cooper's class is gonna outdo these horses. I've got to believe that. So,
yeah. The concern I have with Brian and Cooper, Scotty, is that it's a Chad Brown, and many of Chad Brown's turf horses have absolutely no speed. He prefers to train horse to come off the pace, right?
Yeah.
And this horse really, and again, sometimes now this horse hasn't been raced on in a while. So sometimes you get somebody with a clear lead, gets brave on the front end, a bunch of first-time starters, and they could anybody close to the pace just takes over. And that's why I'm a little afraid of the 6 Timia. Also the stretch out, first time going 5.5, then stretching out, blinkers on. And so that horse, it wouldn't surprise me if that horse 6 stretches this field out for a long time. So, that's a lie.
This is one of the reasons why I like the 8 too, is the 6 and 7. The 7's going to be pushing that 6 as fast as it can go early, and the 7 can't win. The 6 horse has a 37 GSR. Like, to beat Bryant and Cooper, a Chad Brown horse who's got an 88 GSR, 100 out of 100 times I'm going to play that. Even if, and I understand that the Timia is the EquinEdge long shot, but still, not with my money. The other one I would maybe play against is the 9 Grace and Grit, who could get some money. This horse is 6-1 on the EE morning line, only 9% to win. And the breeding suggests that this horse is going to do better on dirt. If you look, it's got a 66 dirt tab and a 52 on the turf tab. So I think, just playing against that horse would be prudent, because even if you're playing in horizontals and you add horses like that, it's going to cost you later, where you might want to, you might want to spread. So I really think that this race is between 2 horses, and that's the 1 or the 8. That's what I think. I'm gonna take the 8 horse over the 1, but 1 on paper, the horse. Huh?
8-1 for Scotty. I'm locking it in. It's in the system. Okay.
In the system.
All right. We have 4 minutes.
We have 4 minutes. Okay, I got to.
But it's Gulfstream. We probably have 12 minutes. It is Gulfstream.
That's true. All right, so let me just put this play in. So I've got the 8-1, and then okay, bear with me real quickly. Let's see. All right, so we got one more. Okay, race number 3.
All right. 16,000 claimer. Not only was it 2 lifetime, Fillies and Mares, 6.5 furlongs, Scotty.
I think, first of all, I think it was a really good claim. You've got Karamochi, Katamarsi. How do you pronounce that anyways? Ken Tarmachi.
Katamarchi?
Yeah, Katamarchi.
It's like it's not the, it's the other Katamarchi.
Yeah.
So it's his brother, I believe. Yeah.
And he owns the horse as well.
Yeah.
But the thing is that might have been a really good claim, actually. The horse ran a good race off of a double layoff. And the horse is the fastest horse in the race, and there's really nothing in here. And it also is a horse to watch. So it's 27% to win, but horses that are the top pace, top win, top GSR, top EE morning line, meaning lowest EE morning line, and top pick or EE pick win 44% of the time, and they're in the money 78% of the time. So there's no reason for me to try to even play against that horse. I think 5 horse goes gate to wire.
Okay. Yep. I think the 5 horse is a horse has definitely got a shot. My concern is this was a Dale Roman's horse, dropped to the bottom level at Saratoga. Basically, Dale said, give this horse away. Let's go. For sale sign on it. Off that race, it's a contender, but look who finished 3rd. Jay's Love, second time. Now, that was the first time off a layoff. Second time back. Jay's Love draws the rail. Has 1 at the distance, has 1 at the track. And who does Jay's Love pick up? Chris Elliott. So I'm on 2 Chris Elliott horses early in this feeder. And I am going with a 6% trainer. I will acknowledge Oscar Barrera, the 3rd, does not win a lot of races. However, 6% jockey, 6% trainer, I'm sorry. And but second race back, he's 10%. Bingo. It's 4% higher, second race back. I don't know what that means, but I'm going with my man, Chris Elliott, in this race. Hopefully, nice trip from the rail, can handle 6.5. So it's 1-5 for me, Scotty, at Belmont. I'm sorry, Aqueduct, 3rd race.
All right. So you're on the 1, and I'm on the 5. And I will say this 3 horse is super interesting. It broke its maiden against 9 other horses on the turf at Saratoga. So if you win at Saratoga, there's no shame there, no matter what the level. And then came back against a 54 group at Saratoga. It was a little overzealous, was only 4% to win. Now gets back on the dirt, has a GSR of 61 and a win percentage of 23. And Alvarado, who was aboard the 5 horse last time out, their 28% jockey trainer combination with 25 samples is 3-1 on the EE morning line. This might be a very interesting horse. I think I'm gonna do the 5, and then I'm gonna do the 3 on another.
Okay, so that was Gary Contester going from turf to, yeah. My concern, Scotty, the two dirt races this horse had,
I
she
know.
had
I
were
saw that.
awful. They were awful.
They were, but here's the thing: it was against way tougher horses. The post position on the third lifetime race is on the inside, and but the thing is that the breeding is more towards dirt. So I'm kind of thinking that, I mean, really the horse never really ran good. Period. Like even I just don't think in 2023 when this horse was 2 years old. I think it started getting better as it became older and for whatever reason. And I'm going to guess that the horse didn't run good as a 2-year-old at all. So I'm going to throw that out and assume that maybe this horse might run decent. And the level fits at the level and should run good. I'm going to guess. This is not that strong of a group. Right?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't. Yeah, she doesn't have to be that good to based on the drop down in this field, dropping down to 16K. She's been racing at a much higher level. If I'm looking, And did you look at this? Give any look to the 7 Year Forever with Irad? That's another big drop down.
It is a big drop. I mean, faced a 52 group here, got third, ran average. It has, 2 layoffs in a row. I did look at this horse and let me try to remember about this horse. Let's see. I think my concern is I thought the horse would be too far back and would have a lot to do.
Yeah.
I think that was my biggest concern. For sure, Bob. We absolutely will. Yeah. We will have, I think the owner plays a huge role in this stuff. So I missed that. I mean, there's so many things to look at when we're looking at horses, and I think the last thing we do is look at the owners, and it's probably one of the first things we should probably do. Let's see here. So I am. Here we go.
And the opener.
Here we go. Who do you have, David?
I have the 2, Eleanor Rigby.
That's right. I think I used the 4.
Right. Good luck.
And up on the outside, More Dreams. In between horses, Diamond and Thrills into the top flight. Eleanor Rigby saves ground toward the rail. Full Exchange is next in front of JoJo's Gone and saving ground.
There you go. You got a clear lead, my friend.
Yeah, I used the 4 on one entry. I used the 1 on another.
The backstretch on top by almost 2. Zayas has hold of Who Do You Like Here to race in second, and Eleanor Rigby is out the rail.
Look at the hold that he's got on the 5.
Diamonds and Thrills in front of Full Exchange.
Yeah, I'm not surprised by that, but he's the jockey on the 4 horse is standing on the horse. I mean, he's got a lot of horse on the 4.
The back is More Dreams. The quarter time was 25.
And as you know, in races like this, a lot of times it's that horse that gets the lead that wins the race.
Who Do You Like Here? Moving a bit closer second. In the green blinkers is Eleanor Rigby at the inside. Out in the middle goes Diamond and Thrills. Back to 5th is Full Exchange.
I mean, he couldn't have gone any slower, 25 and 50.
Yeah, they're crawling.
I mean, he has to have a lot of horse on that 4.
They leave the backstretch and move on to the 4 turn.
If he doesn't win this race, he'll never win.
In the 2 path, Who Do You Like Here? Asked to do some work second, 3 wide. Diamond and Thrills is now third. Up the 4th goes Full Exchange. Eleanor Rigby is at the rail. 2.5 to Coral Dream, well clear of JoJo.
3's making a nice move, but that's very difficult to overcome going 7 wide around the turn.
2's trying to come up the rail.
2's loaded, but he's not going to get. He's going to have to get through the rail. Look at the 3.
Yeah. Oh, tight spot.
Come on, 2, get through. Get through.
Oh.
Whoa.
Oh, what happened there? Perfect timing.
And she takes the lead with a 16th to go.
Get up, 2. You got it.
Eleanor
you got it. Nice call.
Eleanor Rigby.
Nice call.
Boom. That's 1.
There we go.
146 and 1.
1 for David. All right, let's relook at this horse here and see what it was. Belmont race number 1's coming up in a minute, or excuse me, in 5 minutes. So what was it? Talk us through this horse again and why you like this horse.
In all honesty, it's one of my favorite Beatles songs. That's the only. Yeah, no, seriously. Let me pull my notes again on this horse. Maiden 35 to 16,000. Kentucky bred. We discussed that. So I went with the Kentucky bred over the Florida bred, second time blinkers, which I also like. But in all honesty, Scotty, if you look at the race, the 2 won because it got the trip and saved the ground up the rail. The 2 doesn't get up the rail. The 6 wins the race, right? So a lot of cases, these things, we can make all the picks we want, but unless you get a perfect trip like the 2 did, and the 2 could have gotten shut off too. So
no, the two
I got a little racing
a couple of times actually. The 2 was much best in the race.
Oh yeah, but I did get a little racing luck. I will admit that.
No, but you were way best in the race. So, but when I look at this horse on paper, I mean, it's just okay. Like, are we supposed to, maybe it wasn't fit? Like, I don't know. I'm just trying to see where the angle is. Is there an angle here that you're looking at? Where's the angle?
Oh yeah. So I like the drop down from 35 to 16, Scotty, and also. A lot of these races, these horses are lightly raced and haven't been racing at a distance. So you don't know how they're going to do stretching out, even though they might have a good GSR, high GSR. This horse had the benefit of going over the distance, had experience of 1 mile and 70 yards, ran an even 5th, but and blinkers on. It's an education going 2 turns. This is a 2-year-old, got the education, going 2 turns. Go again at 2 turns. Okay, yeah, I like those going 2 turns. I did that the last time, so I'm a little better today at it, right? So sometimes experience over the course, going the distance, even without the any success. But again, the drop down I think was the big factor here.
Let's see here, I'm going to save that perfect trip on the 4. I mean, you can't go.
Thanks, Justin.
Slower. Yeah, you can't go any slower than that horse went for the half and quarter and half, and then stop. So that was a really disappointing effort by the 4 horse. And but 2 horse getting the win. You got, I think, 7-2 on that horse.
Oh, did I? Yeah, the 6 came in second, right? The long shot.
6
so
got
that horse must have paid more win place than the win place combined, right? For my horse.
All right, we can't show Belmont, but we can turn the sound up for sure. So we will do that. Let's see here. Belmont.
All right, Belmont. Just bear with me a second, Scotty. I got to change my TV channel here.
You got it. All right, we got 2 minutes before Belmont. Okay, put that up. Belmont.
All right.
All right, you got the 5 horse, Hazardous Humor, and I've got the 4 horse Willow Bend, who's 5-2. Hazardous Royal Poppy is the favorite. Get rid of this.
Yeah, that definitely makes sense. The Royal Poppy's the favorite, and I did want to confirm something that you said earlier. I like to be as accurate as possible when I'm giving out information.
Yeah.
And I like to correct myself when I give I have a misstatement. So I had mentioned Royal Poppy, the July 8th race at Parks, and this horse didn't ship up to Saratoga. And you pointed out this horse was working out at Saratoga. So the horse obviously shipped out. Yeah. And after you mentioned that, I did recall seeing Royal Poppy entered later in the meet and then scratched. So I don't know because of track conditions. So thanks for pointing that out.
Yeah.
You're trying to handicap all these races and it's easy to miss something. So
what do you make of this 3 horse here? It ran for 12.5, 2 back, and was claimed by Rodriguez for 12.5. And then he triple jumps this horse to 25,000, doesn't run a lick, and gets claimed. And now it's in for $32,000.
Yeah, you're never going to talk me off of betting a Jacobson claim because some of the turnaround with his horses are just mind-boggling to me. Okay. So if you want to say you want to bet a 5-1 Jacobson first time off the claim, that's fine. I mean, this horse is I think this horse is a little cheaper here than some of the others, and I probably wouldn't bet this horse straight. But wouldn't surprise me if it won. Jacobson does weird things. He's a weird trainer. Some of his horses don't show much form, and then all of a sudden they wake up one day. No. with that being said, I don't know the reason for it. That's all. I'll leave it at that.
Okay, they're at the gate. Let's see here.
At the gate at the Big A.
Okay, I have the 6 horse on one ticket, and I've got the 4 on the other.
And I have the 5 on. I have the 1. I have 1 ticket in the feeder. So, but I would use. I'm playing a 5-6 exacta box here too. So, all right. So $15 is the sweet spot, and yep. And I'm tied with about 100 people for the lead.
All right.
And yeah, $15. The 6 horse paid $14.80 to place. So it's 15, and they got a ton of people at $14.80. So.
$6 to $5 on the so the 2 favorites are the 4 and the 6.
Yeah, the 6 at even money is a little too low for my liking. So even if the 5, so I made the right choice if I'm going with the 5 or 6 in the contest, because even if the 5 finishes second to the 6, it's not going to be that much of a disparity to really cost you, in my opinion, in the contest.
I still think the 4 is going to sit a nice trip. We'll see. With
It's taking too much money with Irad. 2 to 1, I think, is a little too low. This horse should be 5 to 2, 3 to 1.
So
in my opinion.
And I think there's speed here between the 3, 5, and 6. So we'll see what happens. Let's see if one of them can clear. If so, that could be 6 stumbled out of the gate, but showed speed. And the 5 didn't break all that well. And type of horse that needs the lead and is way back there, but really nice job by the jockey on the 6. But it did stumble a little bit. That's going to hurt the 3, who needs to be forwardly placed. And I'm surprised how close Willow Bend is, the 4 horse. I'd put that horse into the race, David.
I'm way behind you. They just got off the gate now.
So right now they're past the first quarter in 23-1, and Royal Poppy the 6 at 6 to 5 is in the lead by about a length over Willow Bend at 9 to 5 under Arad, who seems to have a ton of horse right now, and nobody else is coming. It's a race between these 2 horses only. Irad is just standing so still on the 4, riding with a lot of confidence here off the claim. And there goes Irad right now, just right around the 6 horse, who seems to be out of gas. And there goes Irad standing on the horse. Willow Bend at 9 to 5 is going to most likely win this race. And around the turn, gets the lead, a length in front, 2 lengths in front. Here comes the 3 horse backed by Gold at 7 to 1, who might catch the 6 horse for second, but it's all Willow Bend at 9 to 5, going to win this race here in the opener. And the 2 came out of nowhere to get second, actually. 4, 2, 3. 6 horse didn't even finish in the money. 9 to 5 off. First time for Wayne Potts. How'd you like my race call? Not bad, right? I missed my
call. It was good. That was good. You might have a future. The problem is you're about 3 minutes ahead of me. And actually, Willow Bend just not even crossed the wire now on my big screen. So, and the 2 came out of nowhere. My 5 with my Chris Elliott Magic finishes dead last. So, yeah. So the one Wayne Potts horse runs, and the other one doesn't. So,
let me tell you a story. So, I don't know. It was within maybe a month of my first time working at TVG. And I'm working. I'm in the studio, obviously, and I'm working. And then the feed, the sound wasn't working. And so the producer says, to me, and we've got our IFBs, and says, "All right, you need to do the race call." And I'm like, "What?" Like, let me tell you something. Those words, it was. They had 2 defining moments in my life at TVG. That was one of them. I remember just panicking, going, "I'm not a race caller. I cannot call a race." The other one, I was at TVG for 2 weeks, only 2 weeks. And the producer said, "Tomorrow morning on your shift, you're interviewing Bob Baffert." And I stayed up till 4:30 in the morning. I'm not kidding. I probably had 30 questions. I only had 8 minutes with Bob. When I tell you that 8 minutes felt like 1 minute, like they're saying, okay, you got to wrap the interview up, and I had so many more questions. But those are the two that kind of stand out for me.
So you were only there 2 weeks. Would you start and give you a 2 weeks notice on the first day? That sounds like some of the jobs I've had in real estate. I've been there 2 weeks and like, this place is just not for me. I'm an A personality. There's too many B's and C's here. I know this is not going to work.
Oh my God. No,
Or you have an A personality. There's just too many A's here. I'm like, it's not going to happen.
I actually, I liked Willow Bend in there. I'm actually mad at myself for using Royal Poppy a little bit because I really thought that horse would be wide. The jockey actually did a nice job, Dylan Davis, of getting that horse to the lead. The fact that it got the lead with that drop in class and still didn't run good speaks volumes about that horse. Now, it did stumble a little bit coming out of the gate, but no bueno for the 6-horse Royal Poppy. But Willow Bend gets the win. And Whistler Style, it's so funny. I remember this morning when I was handicapping this race, and I thought to myself, David, Whistler Style, I don't believe for a second can win this race, but this is the type of horse that I would key. So I would take a horse like Willow Bend. I would key it in the first spot. And then I would take a horse like Whistler Style, and I would do a 4-2 exacta, and then I would do a 4 with 2 trifecta. That's how I would win a lot of tournaments, is doing it, cash tournaments, doing it that way. Whistler Style, even if you look at the race simulator, watch. I mean, we'll go to here and we'll play, and you're going to watch where this horse was always going to close, right? And there we go. Now watch. You'll start seeing this horse. The horses are backing up, but not the 2, right? And that horse ended up getting up late. That's how you can utilize the ticket generator as well. When you see all these reds and the horses are backing up, but the 4 wins easily in the simulator, and the 2 horse is finishing. So that's
right. The 2, and the 2 was racing exclusively at distances. I mean, if you look at the last 10 races, this horse is going at least a mile in the 16th, a mile and an 8th. And if you figure that horse is like 7 furlongs and going to be closing, his question is, could he get up for second or third? Wasn't an eligible win candidate in my eyes, but
well, look, the 4. First of all, 4-6 was a $7 exacta. 4-2, $19 in a 6-horse field. So you can make money in these types of races, but you have to find horses like the 2 horse, right? That are going to be finishing. And so I think the race simulator is showing us that this horse, the other horses might be backing up, and the 2 is going to be finishing, and that's exactly what happened.
Right. Yep.
All right. So we have what appears to be 12 minutes before race number 2 at Gulfstream Park. I'm on the board. And what do you say we start hitting up some of the qualifying races? You want to do that?
Yes. Let's go and let me get a list of those races. I've got them all looked at. All right. So which one do you want to go to?
So we got Belmont race number 5 is what were we?
All right. Okay. Belmont race number 5. Let's do Belmont race number 5.
Let's run this thing. 3 scratches, the 1A, the 6, and the 10.
Correct. The 1A and 10 were MTOs, and the 6 was in the body of the race, and he's up too. Okay, we got 6 furlongs, maiden special weight for New York State breds on the turf. 6 furlongs.
Can you beat the 9? I mean, it looks like this 9 can go gate to wire. It gets the lead. No, it doesn't get the lead at the first call. It does draw outside. It gets off the rail, and that could be a thing. Like, that happens. So many people don't use that handicapping tool, and that is look at the post, look at how many horses, look at the trouble line, maybe even watch the video. That'll even help you more, because you'll see horses kind of shying away and kind of, going back. There's a high likelihood here that, and this horse has probably had, because it has more of a front running style, it's probably had to send. It probably has never been allowed to really relax much. So it is something to look at. Now, this horse is getting off the inside and getting to the outside and has that tactical speed. the 9 does look tough. Anybody else you like in here?
Yes, yes. So the 9 is an obvious use, but if you look at the 5, Master Freud has the highest pace factor. This horse is a New York State bred and has raced in his last race against Open Company. Gun for the lead and kind of packed it in late at 6. Now back to state breds. That's a good race. This horse had raced in a mile and 2 mile and a 16th, 2-turn races. Now this is off a layoff. So that horse is live. I think the 9 is a must use, and then if you're playing any horizontals. But the horse I ultimately landed on, Scotty, in the contest is the 1 Areno. This is for Jim Bond, and I will say that they are definitely, knowing that barn, they are very disappointed in their performance at Saratoga. They primed for that meet. They have a barn right down the road near the horseshoe. So I know they're disappointed. Their barn's too good not to. They've got a bunch of turf, well-bred turf, New York State bred horses, and they're ready to fire. I'm still convinced by that this horse started his career in June at Aqueduct. Nothing there. It showed a little speed and packed it in, going 6. Then stretched out at Saratoga and really didn't run so well, but off slow in that race. I think now with Dettori picks up the mount, this horse will get a better start. I think by stretching out, just looking at the GSR in this field, let me see. We've got King Puck's got a 75. Arena's only got a 62, but I'm going to take a shot at the price, morning line 8-1. I don't think you'll get anywhere near 8-1 with Dettori climbing aboard, which I really like that move. I don't think I've ever seen Dettori ride a New York State bred, number 1. I know for a fact he's never ridden for Jim Bond. So I'm going to take a shot here with a little bit of a price. The 1 Areno stretching out again. I'm sorry, cutting back again. Might have some conditioning here, and usually James Bond's horses improve second, third time out. Doesn't win with a ton of first-time starters. So I'm going to go with the 1 Areno over the 9 King Puck, who is Clement and very logical. So 1-9 for me, and the 5 is a real close call. So it's 1-9 for me at this point.
Yeah, I found it interesting that Bond is actually protecting this 8-horse Cousin Ed, who is a New York bred, faced Open Company. No, it faced state breds actually in a claiming, and he's usually fires his best shot first time out. So I was surprised to see that he protected this horse. I don't really see anything within the workouts that shows that this horse is, supposed to improve a bunch. I don't know. It was interesting, but here's the thing too. When I go to the finish here on the simulator, if I throw out the 9, then look what you're looking at. You're looking at what appears to be a really wide open race, and sometimes you need to do that. So if you think you can beat the 9, make sure that you do that with the simulator, and then when you're looking at that, any one of these horses can win. And since the 9 is going to probably go off at a big favorite, and it's burned money in its first 2 tries, I don't know if it's fair, again, because this horse has been on the inside, not an easy place to be. And so I have mixed feelings. As a part of this horse could romp. Would you be surprised if the 9 won by 10 lengths?
No, not at all. Not at all. And you're right. The 1 post now draws the outside to be stalking. The only concern I have is, Joel Rosario can be a little too patient at times, right? He likes to close. He's got a great closing kick, and he's got really good pace judgment. But sometimes I've seen him a little too far back in some of these sprint races. So I'm hoping that Dettori gets a jump on him. But yeah, the 9, if you wanted to, this is the first leg of the pick 6. And if you tell me you're going to single the 9 in a pick 6, I could see that. So, yeah. But I can't resist the price. And again, for the contest, I'm going to use the 1. If I play a pick 6 today, will I use the 9? Oh, absolutely. Yep. So I'd probably use the 159 here in any horizontals.
So one of the reasons why I probably will go with the 9 is when I look at a horse like the 3 horse, and I look at this horse, 1 win, 4 thirds, and 10 tries, And the race simulator, other than the 9 winning, the race simulator has the 3 horse coming in third. And I'm like, okay, this is an extremely weak race then, because this is not a horse that has a profile that I would ever want to play.
Right.
So
I agree.
You know what I mean? So this is a wide open race, and I like your one. You're absolutely right. Second off the layoff, and Bond is 15% second off race back. In fact, only 5%. Did you know that? First race back.
Right. First race back, a little shaky. Second race back. Yep. Usually.
Yeah. And so it broke bad, and now you get the money run. Like you might have something here where you're going to get a price on a horse. And either way, if this horse goes off at 6, 7, 8 to 1 and the 9 horse wins, you still might be okay with the 1 horse that seems like a pretty safe play. Did you even consider the 2 horse possibly? This
Oh, yeah. Absolutely, because one of the other angles, Scotty, is horses who've never been in a maiden claimer. So the only 3 horses that qualify here are the 1, 9, and also the 2. The 2 now has exclusively state-bred races, never dumped into a maiden state-bred. And if you look, you can throw that last race totally out. That was an off-the-turf race on a sloppy track. This horse obviously didn't like the slop.
no.
If you go back, those aren't bad. I mean, this horse runs pretty evenly and had a nice bang-up third at 56 to 1 in its first race at Saratoga. So yeah, and cutting back, I'm not sure if this maybe is more of a prep race for another stretch out. So so that's why I lean to the 1. I think the 1 is more suited to go 6 furlongs than the 2. The 2 to me is crying out for a little more distance. So yeah, it's a horse that I could definitely take a shot with too.
So Carmouche is off the 1 horse. You think he was taken? I mean, I would rather have Dettori, obviously, on the 1, right? What about this Rohan? Because the jockey trainer combination, the jockey Friedman is only 10%, Eric Cancel's 9%, but together they're 24%. And there's a first-time starter here who's has some pretty nice works. What are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I'm pretty familiar with Mitch Friedman's barn too, from back in the day when he first came on the scene. And I don't recall him, Scotty, winning with very many first-time starters, and hardly any, if any first-time turfers. So to me, with Mitch Friedman's barn, I won't play a first-time starter. With all things being equal, I'm not going to play a first-time starter from that barn.
Yeah. And the 5 horse Master Freud, who can possibly go gate to wire. I mean, speed is tough on the turf here, and this horse could have a clear lead. It had a clear lead last time out as well, but that was against open company. This is much easier.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, this is like I said, it was a tough call between my second pick would be either I've got to use the 9, but yeah, it was a tough call. This horse, I think, is a big contender and could get a clear lead here coming out of the gate and be tough to catch, no doubt.
Yeah. I will say this. I think that the 9 horse is going to keep the 5, going to keep the 5 honest. I'm struggling a little bit with this race, but either way, let's go to Gulfstream Park race number 2. We both have the 6 horse Skull Honor. Not surprisingly, Venezuela is Gold is your favorite at 1 to 2. We talked about that. There's absolutely no reason to use a horse like that you're projecting to go off at such low odds and put them in your tournament, unless you have long shots in other places and you really think this is a free square. I think we both agreed this horse seems to control everything, but we weren't entirely sure that this was a free square.
Yeah, I don't think it's a free square, Scotty, by any means, because, again, it's the quality of the race, right? So we don't know how good some of these horses are. I mean, you're looking at a maiden 35,000 claimer, and I will most likely tell you that I can almost guarantee you you're never going to see me bet a 1 to 2 in a maiden 35 claimer. Maybe 1 to 2 in a stakes race if the horse name is Flightline, but not here. Yeah. no way.
Hello,
so
Kat.
What do we get on Skull Honor? 5 to 1. So 5 to 1's an acceptable risk price for me. So I'm glad I settled that because I was hedging back and forth. I actually put the pick in earlier before we started the show, and I had the 2 on top originally, and I switched it to the 6 singing. This horse is not going to be a price.
Let's look at these horses on the track and see how the 6 looks. There's a 2. There's a 6 horse. Looks okay. Looks okay. Nothing great.
Yeah, he looks okay.
Speed's dominating, Eric, over at Churchill.
I watched Churchill yesterday, a couple of like 3 or 4 races, and yeah, especially early, those sprint races, the speed was really, really good.
I'll be right back, David.
Sure. Yeah, I noticed, Eric, the track was sloppy, and I didn't see that second race, and I did have interest. I'm glad you brought up Churchill, because sometimes doing these shows, we're focusing on the tracks that are in the contest, NHC contest. And then I miss a course that I wanted to play. So let me just go back to Churchill. I'm a sucker for a sloppy track also. I love both the turf and even any sloppy or muddy tracks. All right, so we have a 1-2 shot in this second race at Gulfstream. And let me pull up my notes here. So Valenzuela's Gold stays at the same level. Jock stays on. Yeah, I'm going to take a shot that this, like I said, the 6 horse is the second choice in a race. So Barboza's got the 2 favorites. So how many times have we seen trainers with 2 horses in a race, and then inevitably the longer priced horse wins for some strange reason? So I'm hoping that's the case here.
4-1 right now.
And we're both on the 6, right? Okay. All right. We're both on Skull Honor. So look at it this way. It's a second choice, Scotty, and no one's really taking any money besides those 2 horses. And so even if the 6 would finish second, that wouldn't get us too far behind.
No.
And I see Dave Duncan. Dave, you're right, tied up with for that. How many people are tied for that slot? 29 entries will move on to the qualifier.
29.
Yeah. And I guess I'm tied with Dave for
Horses are at the gate.
20th with about 20 people.
They're moving in
15.
for race 2. It starts the early pick 4. Heavily favored at 2-5. Number 2, Venezuela is gold. Cipriano Gill on.
Well, Mike, yeah, we hope that happens in this case. So I'll definitely want the 9-2 over the 2-5.
Adios, Buster and Ogen.
And you're right. I mean, Gonzalez, is the go-to jock for his barn, right?
Early pick 4.
But I guess it's loyalty to keep Hill on that 2 horse. So good luck, everybody.
I thought the 1 horse made a nice appearance on the track, 24-1.
Skull Honor, the other Victor Barboza Jr. entrant in here. He has 2 in the race.
Yeah, I don't love the breeding.
Max Chero to the outside.
I think this horse has enough speed to go 5. We'll see.
Here we go.
They're all in line. And they're off. Poor break.
Was off slow.
Buster. Quick break in the middle for Ogen, who heads off for the early lead. Venezuela's Gold has a bit of speed, driving through at the rail.
6 looks quite wide.
On the go. Call me a cab to
Yeah.
lead the early lead and the run to the half-mile point. Venezuela's Gold is a
There you go. Like I said, not fast enough for 5 furlongs. That shows you what I know.
Adios Buster improves to take 5th, and Max Chero is last. In around the far turn at the 3 furlong point. They went 22-1 for the opening quarter. Call me a cab has the lead by a length and a half. Ogen is second. Venezuela's Gold is locked in toward the rail third. 6 ahead of the others.
6 is not running.
Buster and they're at the
No.
top of the stretch. Trying to get through at the rail.
That's the risk with these first timers.
The rail opens for
Yeah.
him. He has a ton
So the
more
one
room
was the
down
first
there
timer
than
and
he did
ran.
last time, so he's up to take the lead. Back to second is Call Me a Cab. Down the center, and Ojin is third. There's a 16th to go. Venezuela's gold tries to put him away. Venezuela is gold, indeed, at odds on.
215.
Right. We absolutely had the roaring first timer, and that horse was 30-1. So that was the play in the contest. You'll get a lot more for place than you will for one place combo on the 2.
I mean, the horse was 7-1 on the EE morning line. It looked really nice on the track. It just made a really nice appearance. And it's interesting too. Look, usually for these cheaper horses, David, you don't see these horses training on the turf, but that's exactly what this horse did. And I mean, that horse really looked better physically than all the other horses. So
yeah, no, the horse looked good. However, unfortunately, it's a pick and pray. We didn't know that.
For sure.
Right.
Yeah. No, you won't get 30-1 next time, but yeah.
Nope. You might get 30-1 on Skull Honor, though.
Yeah, you will. Honestly, that horse didn't look that good on the track. It just didn't. But it's pick and pray, and it's too late after that. All right, let's go to Belmont Park, race number 2. You have the 4. I have the 8, Brian Cooper. I'm really looking forward to seeing this race. I'm curious to see how this Bryant and Cooper runs. I don't think it's a world beater. I don't think it's one of Chad Brown's best. But I will say this, though. I don't remember ever seeing a New York bred with an 88, like with this kind of GSRs on the turf. I mean, even on the dirt for that matter. You just, you don't see it. Like usually, you know what I mean? Usually these New York breds, at least on the GSRs, like look at the average GSR. I mean, 60s, 50s, like 40s. That's what you normally see with most of these state breds. I mean, of course, you get some decent state breds, but New York breds. But anyways, I mean, that is just a really nice GSR.
It's fantastic. Yeah, and the disparity between the second GSR is,
what I mean?
Yeah.
And the 3 is a first-time starter with low win percentage connections, who, by the way, has trained on the turf a couple of times. They were slow works, but all the works have been slow for that matter. But, I mean, horse has a decent GSR at 51-1. I mean, maybe the horse can get 3rd or 4th in your exotics. It would be worth putting the 3 in based on the GSR. But this looks like a 2-horse race to me. I didn't think the 2-horse. I know it didn't. A lot of times these horses get overbet. Second-time starter. All of a sudden it's going on the turf. But now you have to take a horse that ran 1 time, and now it's going 2 turns and on the turf. So it's got to try a new surface as well. And it's not necessarily bred for it. It's dropping 11 points in GSR. A lot of times these things are too much to overcome. And you have a 9% trainer. It's not like this trainer is so good that he's like, I'm going to plan this horse's career. He's going to run on the dirt, and then we're going to put him where he belongs 2 turns on the turf. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think the condition came up, a state bred. They're like, hey, let's just try that. That's what I think. That's not the type of horse you want to play. That being said, it's the EquinEdge second pick. So I don't know. What do I know? But and for those reasons, I'm like, I gotta play the 8-horse and at 5-2. Figured the 1 was going to be the favorite. The 1 on paper is the horse to beat. But I'm guessing. Let's see what happens, David. But I'm guessing the 6 and 7 are going to duel pretty fast, and that's going to help set it up for the 1 and the 8 as well.
Right. I'm still under the impression that the 8 doesn't have enough pace iron, to make that close. This horse would probably be dead last.
7,
Brown.
7 is gonna fly. We watch
the 7. Right. The 7 will have the lead, but I'm hoping the 4 gets a good position. Was off slow last, and Dylan Davis, like I said, is riding in career form, and I love the price, 26-1. Boom. And if this horse runs a second, that'll put me in good shape in the feeder. And the only thing I'll say about Saratoga Snow is Mike Denis. He's a Monmouth trainer these days, and so you look at all the works that are at Monmouth. He's shipped this horse up in early August. Now, Monmouth's meet is done. Actually, they might have a couple of more weeks left, but they're not today. So he shipped this horse up to Saratoga, and this horse was bet in a 9-horse field, was less than 6-1, which surprised me. And this horse didn't really run, so I'm thinking, I don't know, maybe I'm assuming that the Saratoga Snow horse in Saratoga was overbet by so many people making hunch plays, right? So I have no idea why this horse took so much.
Eric, the 9-horse, I think the 9-horse wants dirt, not turf. It's getting bet. So somebody knows something. I think the horse is going to do better on the dirt and better to bet next time out. But that's my opinion.
Well, we think somebody knows something, but it could still be bad wagering dollars.
Yeah, exactly. And the 8
all right, they're up.
Really bad break. 1 horse broke beautifully.
And look where the 8 is.
It broke terribly slow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, typical Chad Brown firster.
Yep.
Yeah, the 2's got the lead. It looks like I don't see the first fraction posted, but it looked up 25. They are crawling. And my 4 is back in 6th, saving ground. Maybe we can make a little bit of a run, Dylan. All right, so we got Grayson Grit took the lead over the 2 Saratoga Snow. With the 1 in 3rd, Heavenly Light stalking. Looks like the 1's got a ton of horse. But we still have Grayson Grit with a 2-length lead coming around the far turn. How does that sound as a track caller, race caller?
Yeah, really good.
Burn off. Okay, the 1's making a run on the outside.
9 was live.
Looks like 9-1 here, and the 2 is sitting. The 2's hanging in there. 2's making another run, and the 4 is buried on the rail and just got checked. And somebody's rallying up the inside. The 5 looks like it's going to get second. One more dance. Oh, the 2's still got horse.
Yeah,
going to be a tight photo for second.
9-2-5.
Yep, just 9 goes wire to wire. And that's what we see sometimes on these turf races, right? Stretching out.
Yeah.
I didn't know the first time starter would have that much speed.
Well, watching the 1 run right there, I mean, the 1's not all that. It just looked okay.
No.
Yeah.
Yep.
Had not very good strides. Nice going, Eric. Good call on the 9.
Way to go, Eric.
Okay.
Yeah, John Kimmel, their barn can easily strike with first timers. And Carmouche that's his style. He loves to be on the lead.
Yeah.
He senses the pace was slow, got up there, pressed, and took over. And the 2 held on very nicely. But when you see the first quarter was 25 and change, that makes sense, right?
We're on race 5 for the qualifier.
Right, where I landed on a Reno over King Pup. I think you were still trying to make your final decision.
I think I'm going to go with 5.
Master Freud, Bob Placeris, off the layoff.
Yeah, it was terrible.
Yeah, I like the race in the open company where this horse was 24-1 and showed speed.
Yeah,
had a clear lead.
Jumps up to 16%. I don't like the jockey trainer combination of over 6. I will say that. I just don't like that.
Right, but it's not not such a large sampling. But what I do like about this horse, and I've picked up on this angle a number of times over the years, horses, but especially in claiming races, that opted not to ship to Saratoga and either had one race at Monmouth and stayed downstate, or just stayed downstate, got refreshed, had success over the track in the past. So it didn't have the chipping back and forth a couple times, right? So this horse fits that bill. This horse did not ship to Saratoga. This horse has been working out at Belmont exclusively, and so this horse is fresh. This horse is, like I said, it's this horse. I would definitely use in any horizontals with the 1 and the 9.
What about this Bustino that we talked about earlier? How, like, the fact that this horse is going to probably take a lot of money.
You think so?
5-1 on the E-Morning line. The race simulator has the horse right there.
I mean, this horse has been in a maiden 30 or maiden 40 claimer for the last 1, 2, 4 starts. Switches back and forth from dirt to turf, but it looks like this horse's best races are on turf. So you have a point there. But last race was off the turf. Last 2 races, this horse was entered in off the turf. Second off a layoff. I don't like it especially, but
yeah. What about Cousin Ed?
I'm sorry, Cousin Ed. Cousin Ed started in a maiden 40. Usually, if Clement's got any quality of the horse says they're high on the horse, so they're not going to start it in a state bred maiden 40. But the horse was bet. Had an awkward start. Dylan Davis lands here. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, this horse started out at 1 1/16 in its first start. So that would lead me to believe that off the layoff that this is just a prep race, going back up to a maiden special, and then the horse is going to stretch out next time. So it's a horse I would avoid, Scotty.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
All right, I'm going to stick with the 5.
Okay. So it's 5 for Scotty to 1 for me over the 9.
All right, next race we're going to cover is, we might as well stay here and go to race number 7 at Belmont.
Race 7 at the Big A. Just bear with me a second. It's probably my laptop is doing weird things.
No, you're fine.
Okay, there you go.
Four horses, a horse to watch. Wow. That's a big pace advantage for the 4. You see that?
Yes, I did. I did note that. And the funny thing is, I think my best bet of the day is in this race.
Really?
Yes. And do you want me to begin?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'll give you my rationale.
Okay.
And I went through this race, and this is just for the regular listeners will probably know that when I approach a card, and especially at the New York circuit and Ira circuit, I'm basically keying my wagers on dirt races, and especially high-end claimers, allowance races. So this 25,000 1-mile claimer, I know these horses very well. I follow these horses all the time. So I'm familiar by just looking at the names and not looking at the PPs, not looking at EquinEdge. I kind of got a handle on these horses. And the horse that really I had interest in, because I've been following this horse, was the 4 Swarte for Mike Maker. This horse also has a clear pace advantage and cuts back again to a mile. So if you go back to the June 8th race, I was there at that's the Belmont Stakes Festival run in Saratoga. This horse was off a layoff. And just take a note of that race. This horse, the horse that won the race, his name was General Partner. That is a Chad Brown horse. General Partner would probably in this 25,000 claimer be 1-9. Okay, in my opinion, that was a real tough spot for Swarte to in a comeback race. And the horse did show a little speed. I was surprised because I actually wagered on this horse in my exacta to finish second against General Partner, and the horse didn't really run. And the horse that ran second in this race, Black Rain, came back and won next time out. So it looks to be a live race. Okay, with that being said, then Swarte is entered in a turf race. This horse seems to be okay on both turf and dirt, excuse me. And then this race was, again, a really tough race, in my opinion, for this horse to be in. And the horse is way over its head. And also lunch start and bolted, you throw that race out. So 2 races, this horse was either overmatched or had an excuse. Then comes back, stretches out to a mile and an eighth at Saratoga in a hard-hitting $50,000 claiming race. And I thought this horse would have run better. But the horse did take the lead. And to me, watching that day, there was a real pace duel. That was a meltdown. So I can excuse that race finishing 7th. So I thought the pace was too fast. It was a couple of horses battling, very fast pace. And it had blinkers on. Today, drops back to a mile, keeps the blinkers, picks up Franco. And I think this horse is sitting on a huge race. So to me, is wire to wire is Swarte number 4. And then I'll take a shot in my secondary pick with Boss Moves number 5 with David Jacobson, second off the claim, cutting back also to a mile. And this horse has handled a mile before. So it's 4-5 for me, Scotty, all day long. Love that exacta.
4-5 for David. 5-horse jockey trainer combination of Camacho and Jacobson is 31%. That's pretty amazing. 35 samples. Yep. What about he got this with Dutro and Ortiz? Did you look at this horse at all very carefully?
Which horse, Scotty?
The 3.
Oh, he's got this. The 3 got stable. Yeah. Second off a layoff. Yeah. I thought this horse was a contender. And I just think compared to Swarte, this horse is a little cheaper and never hold on a second. Let me just say one thing. Just checking my notes here. Yeah, never raced over the Aqueduct course, which to me is a little bit of a disadvantage. And it's going to take IRAD money, so the horse is going to be over bet. The other horse, in all honesty, that I looked at that I thought had a shot was at a price was the one Majestic Frontier. The issue that I had with Majestic Frontier is really not much speed at all. And this horse has never won, is 0 for 12 going a mile, and also got the inside post. But I think this horse could hit the board or run an improved race over the last time, cutting back. And but I don't think ultimately there's not enough pace for the one horse. So that's why I think the 4 goes easily. To me, it goes wire to wire. It has things its own way and it's in a really good spot.
So one of the things I like to do in a tough race is go to the stretch, and horses that are 3 lengths back or more only win 15% of the time. So, So like to me, the winner is going to most likely come from the 2, 3, 4, 9. That's probably 90%. That's going to happen. It's just they don't. Yeah, 85% to be exact is what the number is. So I think we have to find the horse here. So you can look at now you look at the metrics, right? Sort the SOR. It's pretty wide open. Sort the GSR. The 2 horse has a big number, but clearly it hasn't been running to those numbers, at least not as an older horse. So also, I think you have to look at the style of the horses too. And the 2 horse needs to be forwardly placed as well. It is the top pick, but it does need to be forwardly placed, and it's not as fast as the 4 horse is. And it just really doesn't look like it can rate all that well. You see, when it doesn't clear, it just doesn't really finish. So what about the 9 horse? Did you look at this 9 horse first glimpse? I'm only 5 wins in 33 lifetime races, but it looks like this 9 horse deserves a look.
Yeah, I mean, the 9 horse has had success over the racetrack, has 1 for 5, 1 for 3, 1 for 7 at the distance. If you go back to April 26th at 6-1, this horse at $32,000 claiming level had a nice race with Dylan Davis. Now, the concern I have is Dylan Davis or Castellano had rode this horse. Castellano was injured. Dylan Davis opts to go to Wayne Potts' horse, higher quality. And I don't like higher quality in this spot, but so that's a concern there. So ultimately, I didn't land on the 9.
All right, I'm going with you on the 4.
The 2 for Scotty, Mystic Knight.
No,
And then the
4.
2. You're going with the 4 on top?
Yes.
Oh, you're on my bandwagon. That didn't work out so well for us in race 2 at Gulfstream. So hopefully we're not putting the hex on each other. But nope. I think the 4 with a clear lead. Yep, Swarte.
Tony, I believe it was all races was the stat that John had given me a few months ago. I'll have to confirm that, but I'm pretty sure from the stretch, if you were 3 lengths back or more, you only won 15% of the time. I'm pretty sure it was all races.
Is that over the main track, or is that at the distance?
No, all surfaces, because he would have given me specifics for all surfaces. So I'm pretty sure it's the same.
Right. Okay.
I'm going to have to look at my email, but you might want to ask me that like in the coaching class on Wednesday or something, Tony, and I'll confirm it. I have to look through my email. All right, let's go to Gulfstream Park, race number 3.
Gulfstream Park, race number 3.
You have the 2 horse. Oh. I have the 6 horse. Mr. American is a horse that I like. In fact, I put a note on this horse, throw out this last race. But I think you had a few concerns about this horse as well, though.
Mr. American?
Yeah. You had mentioned a negative about this horse. I can't remember what that was.
Yeah. Even though I used the horse in a contest, let me see what my note. Let me go back to my notes here on race number. Oh yeah, I mean, I didn't love the 2 for 18 lifetime record.
That was what it was.
But yeah. But that being said, this horse has only been in an $8,000 claimer the last 2 outings. So at the level he's at now, he's 1 for 2. That's 50%. That's not bad. And we talked about that rail post that he had angled out, and probably that was not the best position for him to be in. So I think he's a solid play here.
And then I'm on Calypso Charlie, this horse is tactical. And I think this horse can be very, very tough in here. And I really like the extra distance of half of a furlong. Mm-hmm. So I think with a good break, this horse gets a really good trip.
Definite contender off the last 2 races, no doubt.
Yeah.
And what are the odds on Grand Mac? Oh, Grand Maxine is taking money, Scotty. 9-5.
I do not.
Yeah, that concerns me.
No. I mean, it's because of that last race. People are seeing that. They're going, he's dropping in class, but no.
Yeah, but that's such a big drop from 35 down to 8. And then you have the layoff. So that's, yeah.
Well, what about the first race back 2% for Antonio Sano?
We
2%.
discussed that. Yes. Right. It's hard to justify a wager with that statistic, right?
No
I
way.
agree. Yeah.
Honestly, I think the 6 might run good. What about the 4 horse? We didn't talk a lot about the top pick. And that was, my contention was this. Look at this. In 4 straight races, look at the trouble line. Reluctant to load.
Yeah.
Steady.
This horse doesn't like the gate, huh?
I guess not. I've never seen
That's
that.
usually not a good thing. Yeah. And this horse has been at the $8,000 level. So you look how many neck finishes back on April 7th and April 28th. Lost both of those by a neck and just one last time by a nose. Third race off a layoff, maybe this, but again, it's just like we mentioned with the 2. The concern that I have was the lifetime record 2 for 18. This horse, Super Sunshine, is 2 for 19.
Yeah.
So, I mean, am I overlooking? Should I have settled on the 2 for 8 Calypso Charlie or the 2 for 4 Grand Maxine? Because that's normally more of my style. But I just think that I ultimately went back to the 2 because I think this horse, like I said, had excuses last time out when it was dropped to 8,000. This level on July 13th, kind of won pretty easily.
Well, a lot of times you'll see that though, David, when you see these non-winners of 2, non-winners of 3 races. And if you look at the beginning of the horse's career, it was racing against too tough a competition. So depending on prior, now, if you look and it's like, one of the things that I look at is how many times the horse been at this condition. That's a thing for me. So, and the 4 horse is one of the reasons why I didn't like the 4, because it took 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 tries for this 4 horse to get out of the condition. Right?
Yeah.
Sunshine between horses, and in the pink, it's
All right, they're off. Good luck, everybody.
4 broke good.
Grand Maxime at the back. And the run to the half-mile point, it's Super Sunshine and double sneaking Gill in front to half a length. Putman is second. Calypso Charlie is now third. Gonzalez has Mr. American in a good spot fourth. Racing ahead of Ford Attitude.
7's not running.
Quicken at the back is Grand Maxime. 22 and 3 for the opening quarter. Around the far turn they race. It's Super Sunshine at 2-1 in front. And in front by half a length, Putman. He's there second, 3 wide. Calypso Charlie is now third. Mr. American is 4 wide. No less than 5 wide is Ford Attitude as they straighten for the drive. Grand Maxime has taken no role in this. Off the turn in the stretch drive. Super Sunshine, an eighth of a mile out, a length in front. Putman is now second. From third, it's Mr. American. Outside Ford Attitude. Final 16.
This 5's going to win this race.
Here comes Putman.
Yeah. 11-1, big price. Boom.
Inside, fights right back.
Oh, Ford got it.
Photo finish. Can't split them. Putman outside. Super
The 4 Ford back.
It's a win photo at 104.
All right.
4 got it for sure.
4 got it.
6 had a perfect trip. No excuses.
Third race over. Yep. And yeah, the 2 was stalking kind of wide. Yeah, not the greatest race.
Wow.
Yeah, it looked like the fire was going to go right by and on head bob.
Oh, I don't know.
Sure? You sure the 4 got
No,
that?
I'm not sure. The 5 might have got the head bob.
Yeah, I was talking. I don't like the 2 for 18. I don't love the 2 for 19. So I should have went with the 2 for 30.
I guess so.
I think the 5 got it
I don't know what that wire is.
on the bob. Yeah,
don't
I would
show that
call it
very
the
well.
5.
Eric, you had the 5? No, Eric had the 4. Wow.
They're showing the 5.
They are.
All right, so we got again. This horse was dropped down to an $8,000 claimer, but only one time. that was the first time that horse was running out of town and ran 2 lengths behind. He was in a Calypso Charlie race and the Mr. American race, and he was right there with them, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, maybe 11-1. So the horse did take some money based on it close to its boarding line. But, yeah, it's still going to – and 0 for 3 on this on the Gulfstream to Peter course, 0 for 5 at the distance. And did show a little more speed last time out. But, yeah, I didn't have the winning profile. 2 for 30 I'm usually going to avoid. But
I don't even know. I honestly don't even know how you have a horse like this.
Yep. Congrats, Eric. You're on a roll, man.
No, he had the 4. Oh, you had a 4
He said 4 or 5 bucks. Yep. Boom. Nice.
Nice, Eric.
Nice.
That's even better.
Hey, maybe going through, I should ask you who you like in some of these one of the qualifiers coming up.
Well, no, sometimes let me tell you something. Like you get people in the chat and they start getting hot. We've seen that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. And we've talked about it in the past how streaky this game can be, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, a couple of the NHCs I was just not doing anything. And 1 year, 2 years out of the last 3, I got on rolls at some point during the weekend, and it's really gets a little scary when you're on this roll, right? But so basically, we've all been at the track or playing at home online and got a day or two where you're like, wow, I am really doing. I'm just on a hot roll here. I'm just on fire. Yeah. You just hope that coincides with the weekend that you're at the NHC, right? For me, that happened, and I was kind of surprised. I mean, it's like, wow, I'm having a good day. You're having to spend a second good day and a third good day, and I'm like, that's impossible to have 3 days. Very unlikely 3 good days.
Don't give up, Catherine. It's too soon.
Yep.
And,
it's too soon. Too soon. And don't forget, they just went back to the Big A. It's just hang in there. I can't begin to tell you, Catherine, how many times I'm playing 9 race card, and I'm 0 for 8. And then the last race, I hit a huge triple or a huge double, and I ended up with like a $200 profit when I was way in the hole. And I'm like, I'll take that.
You know what the key is when you feel like that, Catherine? The key, she's like, okay, it's time to drink. The key is to play small and ride it out. Yeah. And then when you start getting warm or hot, then you start pressing. It's just like when you're playing blackjack in Vegas, honestly. Like you start steaming, and that's when you start losing a bunch of money. Like you should not, because you know why? I read something somewhere. It said just because red on the roulette table hits 16 times in a row, there are no better odds that the red is going to come up next. Did you know that?
Yeah.
Yeah. No. And so it's the same theory. And that's what we do. We start pressing when we're cold, and it's the worst thing we can do. And not only that, too. Did you know that stress actually gives you brain fog?
I know that for a fact. Yes. Yeah. Stress can give you brain fog. And also now, anybody who, from what I've researched and found out, besides the stress, and anybody who got COVID over the last couple of years and is stressed out can still have some long haul type of issues with when stress combined with brain fog, and it's hard to shake. So, yeah. So, and we've talked about it before. It's scared money hardly wins, right? When you're pressing, you're having a bad day and you're like, shit, I got to get all this money back. And you're pushing in on plays. I've learned over the years, I'm having a bad day. I cut it back and I make my wagers that are ROI wagers. Sometimes I just turn them late into the day to entertainment wagers. Like, I'm just having a bad day. Let me just get out of this alive and make a few plays for entertainment purposes. And then when you're hot, you expand your wagers. It's usually
David,
better.
You need this one. I think if you can get this one to win, maybe you can get into the qualifier.
All right.
They're going into the gate.
Oh, they are. Okay.
I'll give you my best play.
Oh, Jay's Love. Okay. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. I need my guy, Chris Elliott, not the comedian. 10-1. That'll get me there.
That will get you there.
All right. And I think this is a relatively weak race. The Mountains are 2 lifetime. So let's see, second race off a layoff. And again, I'm not under any false assumptions here because Oscar Barrera's barn just doesn't win a lot, right?
5 needs the lead. If 5 does not get the lead, this race is absolutely wide open.
That I would agree with.
I kind of like the 3 horse a bit. But I'm out anyways. I'm rooting for you.
Okay, good luck, everybody. Let's go with Jay's Love. He's not getting the horses out.
5 did not get the lead. I did. All right. It took a little bit of effort.
Hopefully we got some fractions going on here. Not so great.
Hard to
Seems like a slower track.
3 is loaded. It looks like, anyways, from the inside. Here comes a
Yep.
section. Brandy Lou. 3 saving ground on the inside. Looks pretty good. I wish I was alive. I'll take the 3 horse to win this race right now.
Top of the stretch, at the rail, it's double blue dress. Back for more, you're forever, and in between them, play Freebird. It's still at the rail.
No. Well, we talked about this 5 horse. 5
Yeah. Yep.
Once again, it's double blue dress who's up by 5.
Wow. I thought the 5 was stopping.
Yeah, even money just rumps. And we figured, right, that if this horse gets out for a clear lead,
Yeah.
off the claim, this was a Dale Romans drop down. My concern was, did Dale just want to get rid of this horse? But yeah, no, off the claim. Manny Franco picks up the mount, and it just seemed the two horses that I wagered on in the contest with Chris Elliott, he didn't get either one out of the gate. I thought that one would get out of the gate a little better based on his couple of races ago, but with blinkers on, but not to no avail. All right.
Now we're done with the feeders, and we're going to go on to all the qualifiers. So,
and it's a pretty early start too. So we got like an hour to.
The first leg starts at
3:05,
3 o'clock
right?
Eastern time. 3:05.
Yeah, they kind of moved it along today. So.
What time? All right, so we have about an hour. All right, I'll be right back. Okay, you want to maybe start going over? We're in which race do we have to cover? What did we left off in race number 7, I think.
Race number 7 at the Big A. You want to go to
we
race?
both have Suerte. We both have Suerte. Race number 7. Let's go to race number 8 at BAQ.
Okay, so I'll start off with race number 8 at the Big A.
Okay, and then we'll run this. I'll be right back.
Okay, I apologize for the background noise, but can't mute that for some reason. What's going on? All right, so the 8th race at Belmont. I thought this was Aqueduct, the Big A. Belmont in name only, not location. So the 8th race at Belmont, we're looking at the simulator. Hold on a second. Got a bunch of horses going for the lead. We got what's looking like a very contentious finish. And if you look at the pace factor, the E metric 76 for the Queen's Dancer, we get a 76, 74, 74, 70, 68. So there should be enough. It looks like a contentious pace, so there should be enough speed. In all honesty, folks, I really struggle with this race. I thought out of all of the races on today's card with the qualifiers and the feeders, that this is by far the most open race. So I was really searching around here. I spent more time than I anticipated on this race. And in essence, I just decided I've got to make a decision here. So I settled on number 3. I actually landed on number 3, Ms. Big Bucks, for Michelle Nevin. Kendrick Carmouche picks up the mount again. He's been on this horse the last 3 times. And if you look, this horse was off a layoff from November 16th and came back May 24th in a 6 furlong, another 6 furlong turf sprint, the distance of this race. Had the 2 post and kind of stalked the lead, was right there and finished 3rd. That's a good comeback race off the layoff. Then shipped up to Saratoga, and both races that this horse was entered in, she was entered in 2 races, and they were both off the turf. And this horse had run and won on a off track before, so that makes sense that this horse was left in, that she was left in those dirt races. With that being said, I still think, in my opinion, that this horse runs better numbers and better races on the turf. So with the fact that this horse is now, I'm going to say 2nd race off a layoff coming back to the turf, which really is 4th race off a layoff because the last 2 races were rained off the turf. So I'm going to give this horse a shot coming back to the turf. She wanted the turf originally in that comeback race. Carmouche stays. But again, I mean, you could use 5 or 6 horses here. This is so wide open. And then the other horse I was interested in is the 4, but you're going to get too much IRAD money. So if I had two tickets here, I would go with the 3 as my primary, Ms. Big Bucks. Over the 4, I'm just kidding. But if you want to tell me you in horizontals and you went 5 or 6 deep here, it wouldn't surprise me. Like I said, I think this is by far the most wide open race on the card. Scotty?
Don't you feel like the 3-horse Miss Big Bucks needs the lead though? And Spooky Lady I know needs the lead because it's a horse I've been following.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, are you worried about the trip the 3 might get? I mean, the horse is fast, but the 6 is very fast too.
Yeah, if you look back, and again, this horse had won at 7 furlongs on the turf, but it wasn't really back in June of 23. And that really wasn't a fast pace. It's a concern of mine. But if you look at off the layoff in the May 24th race, she stalked the pace and was right there within the neck of the lead at some point, and then kind of flattened out. And but I am worried that there might be too much of a contentious pace here. And again, her best way here may be to gun for the lead, and Carmouche may gun for the lead over the 6 here because his style is more, speed conducive. So we'll see how that pace develops.
Well, look at the 6. I mean, the 6 breaks good every time and is on the lead all but 2 times here on the page. So, I mean, this is a very, very fast horse, whereas the 3-horse breaks good first, and is almost never on the lead. And the last win, this horse was on the lead at the first call and is on the inside. I don't know. You know what? Your record speaks for itself. I don't see it. I just do. This horse has to clear. So everything has to go perfect. And the 5, 6, and 8 have to literally break bad in order for that 3 to get that lead, I think.
Right. But the one thing that I noticed, Scotty, that the 6 Spooky Lady has, never won at this distance, but again, only 3 starts, a 2nd and a 3rd, and has been coming out of 3 distance races the last 3. So, I mean, you think that may cut her speed a little bit, stretching out and then coming back to a sprint, because those are pretty fast, pretty slow early paces. So I'm thinking maybe the 3 will gun with Kendrick, and maybe you're right. The 3's best chance to win a race maybe just on the front end of the gun. And then the other horse, if you look at Marco T, makes sense too. I didn't want to leave Marco T out because this horse, again, similar to Miss Big Bucks, she was in that same race that came off the turf, and that's the first race that Marco T ran on the dirt, and obviously that horse is a turf horse, 2 for 4 at the distance, 2 for 4 over his course. So and it came out of a stakes race a couple back, the Soar Softly in open company. Yeah, maybe I'm overlooking this horse too much too.
Well, the only thing I will say is Carmouche has ridden this horse 3 times, and you can see like he's broke the horse first, and like I think he learned from the race 2 back. He broke okay, but immediately was 4 lengths back and sat, and the horse got beat badly. Here, broke on top and pushed this horse dueling. And then same thing in the last race and almost won that race. I mean, and Carmouche is aggressive. So you would imagine that that's going to be the strategy. And on paper, and when you run the simulator, you're looking at the 8 might try to rate from that outside post, and the horse looks like it can rate some. But its style is to be near the pace, but we'll see. But Spooky Lady is one way of going. So, you know what? You could get the lead. If Spooky Lady breaks bad and the 8 horse is not the best breaker in the world, you just need this horse to break on top. That's it. And the one thing you do have going for you, which I really like, is this horse is going up 20 points in GSR, David. So, you know what I mean? But let's get this 3 horse to break on top then for you. I do like your horse here. I think this horse has burned some money, and that would be the negative, but this horse should get a really good trip, and Irad, stays aboard, and they're cutting back in distance after showing a little bit of speed. I always think that's a really good play that people ignore. I actually learned that, believe it or not, from Simon Bray. And he would like to play horses like this on the cutback. And so, especially if the GSR is really not dropping that much. So this horse might surprise today at a price. And one of the things I've noticed with David, who does the morning line in New York, he's just so good. And he's got this horse at 7-2 morning line. And when the
David
Aragona. And we've got this horse at 7-1. So the fact that David likes this horse so much is, also says a lot. So
right. And blinkers on the cutback, and I'm big on cutbacks, but and you look, this horse did do the same move last year from August 16th at Saratoga, Mono 16th to the September 17th race. So very similar to what it's doing here, and just missed that day, just missed by a neck. And our Irad was on, so they're doing the same thing. So yeah.
I'm super interested, and I handicapped the feeder races, but I didn't have a chance with everything going on to handicap these races. So I'm looking at this for the first time, and when I look at this horse, Pratt re-rides. The horse did not have a good trip, but here's what I like. Look at this horse. It's going up in GSR, 13 points, up in win percentage, and facing easier. And look at the morning line on this horse. It's 3-1. And here's the other thing. It's 22% to win, but when you're the top win percentage and lowest EE morning line of 3-1 here, you're winning 33% of the time. Mm-hmm. This might be a play with Flavian Pratt. So
that like I said, when you had stepped away, that this race, out of all the races and the qualifiers and the feeders today, to me was the most wide open race. That I really struggled with this race. I was bouncing all over the place. So,
what about Marco T? I know you mentioned it. This horse is also, it's the top EquinEdge pick. Franco has been aboard many, many times on this horse, and they've done very, very well. You can obviously, and this horse still ran decent, but you can obviously throw the race back in the grade 3 back. And if you look at this horse, I mean, this really is not that tough a field compared to what she has been facing, David.
Yeah, no. And again, was in that race, the off the turf race on August 8th with Ms. Big Bucks. So, and that was the first time that Marco T was racing on a dirt track and a sloppy track, and the horse didn't really fire. So back to turf. And if you go 3 back, this horse was in a stakes race, an open company stakes race. this
Yeah.
horse off it. And it ran evenly, but that's a much tougher field. And 2 for 4 at the distance, 2 for 4 over the track.
And the Rosario's aboard the 7 horse for Christophe Clement. Two wins in a row, but these are tougher.
Yeah, it's an inscrutable race in my opinion. We got to settle on somebody, so I opted with the 3.
Yeah. All right. Well, I know I'm going to take a horse that's tactical for sure. The 7 horse is going to have to come from too far back. The 9 can sit a good trip. The 4 can sit a decent trip. The 8's going to be too close to a what I think is going to be a fast pace, and plus I think it's a little class compromised. I really don't understand the 8-1 EE morning line on the 2 horse, to be honest with you, but I hope it's accurate. I like your 4. I like your 4, but this horse has maybe burned a little bit too much money for my liking. And so for that reason, I think I'm going to go with the EquinEdge top pick. I'm going to go with the 2 horse.
Okay, so Scotty's on the 2, Marco T. I'm on the 3, Ms. Big Bucks on my primary. The 4, I'm just kidding, on my secondary pick. So locking you in.
So now we're going to go to Belmont race number 9.
Belmont race number 9. All right, that's the last Belmont race, and we got to backtrack.
Yeah.
So this is the race. This is the stakes race on the turf.
The winter. This is the race Makanga was scratched from.
Right. So we have a couple of scratches. Besides McCagna, we got the 2 Zoli, the 4 Mixologist, who I did like a bit, and the number 9, Nicest Pie. Okay. Running the simulator here. Let me just pull up my EquinEdge and race 9. So they're going a mile here. These are for fillies, and it's a stakes race. The Winter Memories, $150,000 race. So Poolside with Slim has got the highest pace factor, but Ori, if you look at Ori, this horse went 2 back. And again, we've seen this move before, and that's one of the moves I believe I was on board with this horse, the number 14, back on July 19th, because that's my type of move. Opened in a maiden claimer, 75,000, didn't lift a hoof on the dirt, awkward start, stretched out to turf, and it would look like there was no other speed in the race. I recall this. I thought this horse was taking money at 10-1. It was only a 6-horse field, and Kendrick got off on a lead, realized there was no other pace, and just cruised around the track. So had everything its own way that day. Then entered into Little Lake Placid, a grade 2, and had the lead for an awful long time, and finished 5th at 39-1. So that changes the pace dynamic a little bit. And the question is, with Rosario now, does Rosario press the pace of the 7 Poolside with Slim, who's been in last 4 races were stakes races? So is there enough pace to set it up for Chad's horse, the 8, dynamic pricing? So interesting race. How'd you see this? I'm still trying to make a decision here.
Well, let's see. It showed the 4. First of all, that post position of the 14. I know there's been scratches, but there's still 9 horses in the race. So going to have to go from the widest post right there at that starting position. Going 8 furlongs over at Belmont Park is not advantageous. So
no,
going to have to push. And the 7 horse is fast. I can't imagine that Dettori would just give up give it up that easily. Going to have to make the 14 work. He knows that the 14's fast. the thing about the 7 horse, the 7 is tactical. I think just overall, I think the 7 is a better horse than the 14. That's my guess. And,
I think, yeah, I'd be on the same page.
And so for that reason, I don't think the 7 is gonna press. So the 7 is gonna be sitting a very nice trip. But here's the 5 horse, Whiskey Decision. Here's a horse that's tactical as well, and did not run good in the Del Mar Oaks. Was the favorite in the Del Mar Oaks. Has amazing breeding for Delacour. And I don't really know what to make about that last performance. Shipped in from Delaware Park. And this horse has been all over the place. Turfway Park, Churchill Downs, Delaware, and then goes down to Del Mar. And sometimes that can be tough on fillies. They lose weight. I'm leaning against playing Whiskey Decision. So and as I go to each call, there's the 11, but the 11's only 3% to win. Seems a little bit cheap. It's going to have to do a lot more. So I'm not really on the 11. So now I'm going to go to the stretch. Here comes the 6 horse. The 8's coming. So the 8, if you're wondering, should only be about a length and 3/4 back at the stretch. Third call, 2.82 lengths. So that's not bad. And also has some class. So I guess the only thing that I worry about a little bit, I mean, this horse seems to need more distance for its best. But Cloudwalker's the real deal. I could see this horse running very good. Look what it did. That non-graded stakes race was a very, very tough race. Look at that, 78 for a non-graded stakes race. To put that in perspective, tomorrow Macanja is in a 66 SOR, which is a grade 3 for $350,000. So, that non-graded stakes race came up really tough, arguably, and now it was a sprint race too. Now the horse is stretching out. I don't know that that's its best. It might be a sprinter. Let's see here on the turf. It sure looks more sprint pedigree, which means that the horse is going to be near the lead. It looks like a late running sprinter to me. I think the 8's going to find a way to just get this win. That's what I think.
Yeah, the concern. Well, third race off the layoff, ran into Belmont, Grade 1 Belmont Oaks Invitational on Belmont Stakes weekend there. That was a tough field. And then ran again in the Lake Placid Grade 2. So this, in my opinion, this horse has got a class edge. However, the horse does not have typical of Chad Brown horses. The horse doesn't have a lot of speed. It's only a mile. Is it going to be enough pace? So, yeah, I mean, you've got to use the 8, I guess, in horizontals. But the horse that I find very interesting, and I ultimately settled on, is the 6 Cloudwalker. And one of the things that put me over the top, I noticed that is also the EquinEdge top Scotty pick. And I'm like, it made me take another look at this horse. Yeah, it's not normally, I would acknowledge, not normally a horse, Scotty, that I would play. And the reason is this horse, it looks like a closing sprinter, just exactly like you said. So we've got 5 races that this horse has been in, and every race is 5.5 furlongs. And every race, this horse ran well. We've got a first, third, first. This horse is a game horse. It's a more than ready. Now stretches out to a mile. If this race was a mile and a 16th, I'd probably want no part of it. But at this price, off the little bit of a layoff, Brendan Walsh is at Saratoga's was a little cold, but if you noticed at Kentucky Downs, his horses were running well. So he seemed more live at Kentucky Downs. So I think his barn is going to be on a rebound. And at that price, I'm going to take a shot at the 6 in the contest, Cloudwalker. Do I think this horse is the most likely winner of the race? No, but I think it's sort of wide open. The pace is a little spotty here. And I guess the point is I'm trying to beat dynamic pricing. So I guess I'd use the one of the speeds with my secondary pick. So for me, it would be Cloudwalker, the 6, given a shot, hoping that this horse can handle a mile, might set a good trip. And the 7 poolside with Slim would be my secondary. So 6-7, Scotty.
6-7.
I gave her a shot with a little bit of a price.
You know, this 7-horse poolside with Slim might just, let that 14 go. And then Dettori's just going to sit.
Yeah.
And George Arnold is only 8% though off of layoff. Let's see the workout for Bruno.
Hold on 1 second. Put a note on that. There's who's the jockey on the 14?
Well, it looks to be John Velasquez.
Okay, it's John Velasquez. Okay, that changes things for me, because I thought Vazario was on it, and I know Joel doesn't really love getting the lead.
The 14 is going to go to the lead. There's not a doubt in my mind. They're sending that horse. You have to, and in fact, as well.
Yes, the 14 will go
from that post, right, from the 9 post. So, I have no doubt. The race simulator also has this horse just stopping and being, coming in last. So, but the 7-horse does sit a really nice trip. I don't know. I didn't like the way that horse was moving in that workout there. I don't know. And Arnold is only 8% off the layoff. So that just makes me like the 8-horse that much more. It is 7-2 on the E morning line. It is dropping big in GSR, but it fits in the GSRs. Like maybe where you should be looking at this 5-horse a little bit closer. When you have a filly that travels this much, I'm telling you, they can lose weight so easily. And this horse has won 3 straight races, was the big favorite in the Del Mar Oaks, and just absolutely stopped.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't like the back and forth. It's got a lot of frequent flyer miles, I guess.
Yeah.
But I don't like that chipping all over, especially going all the way to the cross country and then coming back.
But can I tell you, if we were just looking, if you throw out the 8-17 race in the Del Mar Oaks, if we throw that out, the 5-horse is the 1-5 favorite in the race. Probably. 3-5 easy. But so are we supposed to just throw this race out? Maybe. Look at this too. Something was amiss with her. She was pulling in this race.
Yeah, but again, if you look at the race that she won at Delaware July 8th, a small stakes, and she was 2-5, and so that's a weak field at Delaware, I would assume. Even though the race at Churchill was good, and now this is not a horse that I would normally use.
She's just not coming into the race very well, unfortunately. And really the horse that seems to be coming into the race well is the 6-horse. But are you going to be able to trust this horse going 2 turns? And I'm looking at her breeding, and it looks like more sprint pedigree.
Mm-hmm.
So what about this horse? It's she's done nothing wrong. For Brendan Walsh, Dylan Davis.
Okay. Yeah, again, post is not with the scratches. Post is not as bad, and this horse is just a closer. But if you're gonna, it's got the same she's got the same profile as the 8 dynamic pricing. But she could be any kind. She might be, yeah.
Let's see here. Bruno says, worked half mile and company around the dogs. Proctor Street led throughout. Finishing up under a nice hold down the lane while crossing the wire, a neck in front. Love Tempo made up good ground here, but Proctor Street caught the eye. All right, that was on August 23rd. So looks to be coming into this race nicely. Dylan Davis jumps aboard, and the jockey trainer combination is 0 for 2. Arnold and Dettori are 1 for 1. So Dettori rode this horse to the win over at Penn.
Yes. At a mile. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, then what happened to, Churchill did it back to a mile, another stake as the favorite and kind of ran evenly, right?
Yeah. This is not an easy race. It just really isn't. Like maybe do you take a horse like this where maybe the system could be off on because it's a foreign horse? What about a horse like this? Have you considered this horse? The workouts seem to be good. Let's see what Bruno says. Bruno says Laurel started a little over a length behind, drew even at the top of the stretch. Let's see here. Went to finish up a nose in front under a snug hold. Farbridge also finished up well on the inside, but really like how Laurel's went. Okay, well, that's pretty endorsing for Bruno.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Worked inside the dogs this morning. Laurel's inch closer through the turn and down the lane, finished on even terms. Who was under a big hold. The pair continued out nicely after the wire and both made nice impressions. So maybe you got Rosario aboard for Christophe Clement, and maybe that's where we go. I don't know.
Yeah, that's not my type of horse, Scotty, that I typically play. I want to see some U.S. form. Now, again, if this was a Breeders' Cup race and it was Charlie Appleby or Aiden O'Brien, I don't care about the U.S. form. I'm not letting those trainers beat me. But for Clement coming over with a different, it was previously trained by a different trainer back in France. Yeah, you got to show me. You got to show me a little U.S. turf form here. So it is a horse I'd normally pass on. I'm
struggling. I really like the horse that I'm leaning towards is a 7 horse, David, but I am struggling a little bit with Arnold's off the layoff 8% win percentage. And, and this horse did have some trouble over at Churchill Downs, but seems to be coming back really good. But I didn't love that work. It just didn't look that great. But Slim finished strongly. I think I just have to go with the 7, honestly. I don't know which other way to go. I'm a big Dettori fan as well. And this horse is going to be tactical, sitting a good trip, going to save a lot of ground on the inside. There's only one horse is even near the speed of this horse, and that's the 14. So I guess I just have to go that way because I'm struggling with this race.
Okay, so 7 for you, Scotty, poolside with Slim?
Yeah.
Okay.
7 for me. All right. So now we're done with Belmont. Now we're going to go to Gulfstream Park, race number 6.
Race number 6 at Gulfstream Park. And we've got 2 scratches, the 2 Dundee, and the 5 Heals the Soul. You got another Tapeta, 5.5 furlong race for 3-year-olds. Non-winners have a claim. Okay, yep. There's 1. All right, let's see what the simulator can shed some light on this here a little bit.
All right, what do you think?
Yeah, again, this is another race I struggle with a bit. But and when you see a Safi Joseph and Zayas combination, I'm usually not looking to beat that horse. This horse, number 6, Mr. Narcissistic, 4 for 5 over this Tapeta course, right? 12 for 14 at the distance and the money. Does come off a bit of a layoff. But since this horse came back, I mean, we have this horse has been in kind of rare form, right? But has been also racing as low as 16. And now we're at an optional 20,000 claimer. So, I'm thinking I'm reaching out for another alternative here. But I would say that I keep saying horizontals, you'd have to use the 6, Mr. Narcissistic. Because of the price, I'm looking for a little bit of a better price here. So I ultimately settled on a horse that I normally would not play, and that's the 8 Nigerian for Rowan Creighton. Even though this horse is 0 for 6 on the Tapeta course, had 3 seconds, is 6 for 11 with winner place at the distance. It's basically dropping just a little bit, optional 25 to optional 20. On its best day, this horse is right there, can stalk the pace, looks to be in a good spot. Also has only won one race on the Tapeta, which does concern me. But because I didn't want to take the 6, Mr. Narcissistic, who I think is the logical winner here, I took a little bit of a shot with the 8. So for me, it would be the 8 Nigerian over the 6, which is the logical favorite, Mr. Narcissistic. Just looking for, and I do like on the 8, I do like the jockey change from Panizzi over to Jaramillo. I think that's a big key here. And it's been working okay. I'd like to work on August 3rd, which is actually prior to the past race. So I'm going to go with an 8-6 here, Scotty.
So, when you look at this 6 horse, look at this. The last 4 races, this horse is undefeated. And it's amazing, too, when you consider that this horse was 1 for 32. Or not 32,
Mm-hmm.
one for 27, 1 for 28, right?
Yeah.
So it's pretty amazing when you think about it. Now, it has not had big fields. And here wasn't bad. And has had bigger win percentages. Now the win percentage drops. The horse is on the inside of the speed. It looks like both the 8 and you've got Jaramillo on the 8 and the 7 horse are fast. And yes, the 8 can rate a little bit, but it could end up wide, could end up in a big speed duel. 6 needs to be near the lead. 6 can rate a little bit, but it's going to be on the inside. Could check back some, might not get the best trip. And for that reason, I'm going to take the horse that has won 5 races in 7 tries at this surface and distance, and that's the one. It's not even a question for me. 8 wins in 16 races. The horse likes to win. I'm going with the 1.
8 out of 11. Okay.
Okay. We are going to where now? Let's see. Gulfstream Park, race number 7.
Gulfstream Park, race number 7.
Yes.
We've got a 7 furlong, non-winners of 2, $25,000 claimer.
What's up, Grandma?
Hey, Grandma.
Well, Eric's kind of hot right now, so I like that he likes the 1.
Eric likes the 1, huh? 5-2.
So 3 is going to have the lead. Not likely for the win, though. Seven is stalking. So is the 8. So is the 1 on the inside.
I see Catherine, who was going to quit. She gave up. She just hit a 17. So that, congrats. See?
Yeah.
Persistence. And then she likes the 9 here at 15-1 at Churchill Downs. So good luck.
Look.
Yeah, I struggled.
Go ahead, David.
Yeah, I struggled a little bit too with this race. Trying to look for something. I don't know. I'm looking. I like the 1 because of the score at the distance. This horse is 1 for 1 at 7 furlongs, and had won from the inside post back on November 13th. In a maiden 35,000, and that was last year. Is off a long layoff. This is second race off a layoff, and even though the horse did lose to Lace Up in the last start, I'm looking at Lace Up. The 7-horse is now 3rd race off a layoff. And the question I have about Lace Up, does this horse want to go 7 furlongs? I mean, the horse in its only start at 7 furlongs, now be it in a much higher class, just totally stopped. And but off the layoff, yeah, it's a tough decision here whether you would fade the 1 or the 7 in either of those races. I think I'm going to go with the 7 over the 1 here. I think Lace Up can get the 7. I think off this 3rd race off a layoff that post can basically stalk whoever may be in the lead. So yeah, I'm going to use the logical horses here. I mean, I have got a couple of price horses later on, so I'm going to go with a 7-1 Lace Up over whatever will be.
All right, David's on the 7. You know, on the 1-turn races on the dirt over at Gulfstream Park, the 1 and 2 posts win like a big percentage. I forget what it is, but it's a lot. And the 1's going to sit a nice trip. Fox is 30% first race back and 22% second race back.
30%.
Yeah, that's amazing.
That is a real good number.
Going to be sitting on the inside. The 1 horse should get a good trip. And it's very interesting to see where the 2 is going to be far back. If you can get this 2 to win, three is going to be on the lead. Don't see the 4. Don't see the 6 horse winning. I mean, the 7's going to get a really nice trip, but so is the 8, Raging Fury, for that matter, right? Although wide posts don't usually do pretty well. They don't do very well. This horse could be wide. It's not a good breaker.
I gave a long look, Scotty, to this 8, Raging Fury.
Yeah.
And normally more of my profile of a horse I play in contests, but I decided to go to the 7 instead.
I so badly want to use this 2 horse, but I know at Gulfstream Park, I mean, this horse is going to be 6, 7, 8 lengths back at the second call.
Mm-hmm.
That profile just does not win on the dirt here at Gulfstream Park. On the stretch, the horse is 3.14 lengths back. So, and then the only one in blue that finishes, but the 8 horse is 5-2 on the EE Morning line, 29%, and the EquinEdge long shot, and wins the simulated race. That wasn't a bad effort last time out. And Morelos has already won a race today, and the 7 horses, Vasquez has won a race today as well. And when you run this, like, if I sort from the top bottom, you can see that let's do that again. Okay. So there it is. The 3 is on the lead, and 7 is just sitting right off them. The 1 is just saving ground on the inside. Second call, there's the 8. Now the 8 at this point is probably a little bit wide, but there was a scratch of the 5 horse, which helps. And then you can see, look at the stretch. I mean, you got all these horses right here. Like, any one of those can win, and then the simulator has the 8 horse winning the race. When you look at the class of the horses too, the horse did not run last time out, so I'm not even giving any credit to the 7 horse for the last race, and it won and beat a 52 group 2 back. You know, and then the last time it won was against the 52 group. Today's a 56 group. It's been in contention and perfect, and just didn't run. Tough one. It's
tough one.
You
Small
know,
field, tough race.
Yeah, But this horse, the 8-horse, you can say, it's something similar. Maybe these horses are stopping, and then the 2-horse comes from behind. I mean, I don't know. That would, it would be something that would be interesting. Or maybe it's just about the 1-horse who's lightly raced second off the layoff, and this horse wins the race.
Yeah, I narrowed it down to the 2-horse race. I'm like I think it's either 7 or 1 here. The most likely horses. That's not telling you much, 9-5 over 5-2, but sometimes in these contests, just take the logical horses and move on, and you reach out for prices somewhere along the line, whichever you see. I already have a few.
Well, you know what? The one thing is, the 1 really does sit a pretty nice trip on the inside, and the 1 doesn't really have to do any work. But do you worry when you look at this 1-horse that maybe it's a type of horse that, no, it doesn't need the lead? It broke 7th here, was a length and a half back and won this race. Last time out was only 5% to win. The GSR goes up, the win percentage goes up. It is facing a little bit tougher, but I'm not really worried about that because the win percentage goes up. If the win percentage is going down, that would bother me some. And I do believe that the 2-horse is going to be likely in the money, but I cannot take a horse that's going to have to come from so far back and projected. So yes, I'm going to take the 1.
Okay, so it's the 1 for Scotty, locking you in, and I'm on the 7, lace up. And I believe we've got about 15 minutes to cover the rest of the races.
All right, so we've got we have Gulfstream Park 8 and 9 to cover.
Right, and then Laurel, 2 races at Laurel.
And then 2 races at Laurel. So we're going to have to – no, wait. We got where's the start? Race number –
It's race number 5 at
Belmont, which about 13 minutes. Okay, so we got to fly then. So we're speed handicapping at this point. All right. All right, let's run this thing.
You want to stay on Gulfstream?
Yeah, we'll just might as well finish up race 8 and 9.
Okay.
What do you – go ahead.
Yeah, I don't need a lot of time on this 8th race at Gulfstream at all. The horse I settled on, it looks like the horse is easily going to be the pace of the race. This horse off the layoffs has done nothing wrong on synthetic. That's a 2 at Torian. Just aired in both. Tapeta starts at 5.5, cuts back to 5. First time turf. It's a Buchero who's out of Canteros. It's 2 for 3 lifetime. The only loss was a muddy track on the dirt. So I'm just going with the logical horse, the 2 Arturian, wire to wire. And then my second pick would be the 4 Super Freaky Girl. The concern is I do have a concern that they'll get into a speed duel, but I think the 2 is the fastest, and Zios will get this horse gunning. It's only 5, and so it's 2-4. Another chalky pick for me here.
So Jose D'Angelo is such a good trainer, and he's even better with second-time starters. That being said, I'm just, I'm such a big GSR fan. It kills me to see this horse's GSR dropping. And so I'm struggling with this, but it does look like that type of race. Then you have a horse like the 3, who's 3-1 in the EquinEdge morning line. It was 49% to win last time out, and it did its job. But you know what it says 29% to win, but only 5% of these types of horses come back to win. So if I'm just sticking to that and just playing the numbers, then that's what we're looking at. We're looking at just an absolute grab bag. It does look like the 4-horse to me, who seems to have a touch of class. It does seem to me like she needs a lead, and there's some speed in here. 2 is very fast. So I'm going to try to beat this speed, the 2 and the 4. Although the 2-horse, because the 2-horse is on the inside. But so I am going to try to beat the 2, although I do think the 2-horse is the horse to beat. And then it leaves me with, well, in this case, then, maybe you do take a horse like the 1. What about Deflection, the 6-horse? Could you make a case for a horse like this?
Yeah, I think I'd prefer the one second race off a layoff if I'm looking for the for a closer because, yeah, this race can go either one or two ways. The 2 goes wire to wire with the 4 pressing, or they get into a total speed duel. It's a collapse and somebody comes flying. So who's the horse to come flying? I would think it would be the 1. So I might talk myself into the 1 here. As a second, this horse, basically second race off a layoff, came out of stakes at a mile, ran in the Honey Rider, and with a total outside post. So you got to throw that race out. That horse, but it's 5 furlongs. Does this horse like a 5 furlong horse? This horse almost got up the last time at 5 with a really, really contested pace. So, yeah, I think if I was going to play closer, it would be the 1. So, but the more that I look at it, I'm 2 is going to remain my top pick. But I am concerned about the speed duel. In that case, I would play the 1 as a backup.
Yeah. The 1 is the horse I'm gonna most likely go with. The 1 and the 8 faced each other last time out. The 1 had a perfect trip, whereas the 8 didn't have a perfect trip. And also the 8 is off a second time off a layoff. Abreu's 9% with first time horses off the layoff, and 17% with second off the layoff. So I think the 8 horse deserves a look as well. Doesn't draw the rail and has a little bit more speed than the 1 horse. So from that perspective, maybe the 8 just hits a really, really nice trip. And this horse likes to win. Perez actually gets off the 7 to right. You know what? I'm going to go with the 8. All right. Race number 9 at Gulfstream. We have no time, like literally no time. 9 minutes.
Yes, we have 9 minutes to post.
And they're always go ahead.
Yeah, race 9 at Gulfstream. I am just going to make it pretty simple here. It looks like Foxy Lady is going to be very difficult to beat, but it's still only 2 for 21 lifetime at Gulfstream. So I'm looking for a little bit of it. It's only 6 furlongs, an $8,000 claimer. And the other horse I was considering was the 5 Mikasa, but this horse is never gone that one at that distance. I just thought this was just a crazy wide open race. And I'm just going with a horse that has treated me well in the past at big prices, getting a second here or there. So I'm thinking that I'm playing Barbara, the 8 horse, just to get a piece, hoping I get second. Let me just see. And my other pick was going to be the 7 Foxy Lady, but I don't want 7 to 5. You could see Barbara at a couple of times has run big at big prices, had a 4th 3 back at 48 to 1, missed 3rd by a head. I just think that going back to the dirt at 6, this horse might be closing flying at the end and may get up for second for me at a huge price. So I'm a little chalky the rest of the card. So I'm going with a crazy illogical horse here, and that's the 8 Barbara.
All right.
And by the way, this horse on March 16th finished second at 37 to 1, and that was at the NHC.
We saw this angle before.
63 to 1. Yeah.
Miguel Vasquez stays on this 3 horse. He rode this horse last time. It showed some speed early and then stopped, but the horse drew the rail. And in a race like this, where you could see any kind of horse win, this horse is 6 to 1 on the EE morning line. Why? That's what I want to add. Like, why? And so I'm going to also take a price, but I'm going to go with the 3 horse. Just take notes.
Okay.
So now we have what? We just have 2 races at Laurel?
Yep.
2 races at Laurel. Okay. And Laurel Park.
Now, let me scroll up my little.
Race
I
number 8,
picked
9.
both races because I looked at them. Apologize for the pretzel in my mouth.
Okay, I'm going to run this race, and David, I got to start putting some of my plays in because I haven't even put any of them in.
Okay.
Can you do me a favor? You know what? Real quickly, can you just do me a favor? Can you tell me who I'm using in race number 5 at Belmont?
Race number 5 at Belmont. Hold on one second, my friend. Race number 5 at Belmont. I was on the Juana Reno.
I'm on the
And
5,
you
right?
were on the 5, Master Fraud.
Okay, now give me race number 7 at Belmont, please.
Race 7 at Belmont. I am on the 4 Suerte. You were on the 4 Suerte.
Okay. And then on race number 8 at Belmont.
Race number 8. I am on the 3 Miss Big Bucks. And I believe you settled on, I'm just kidding, the 4 or the 2 Marco T. Either
2,
one.
The 2. That's right.
You're on the 2 Marco T.
And then in race number 9 at Belmont.
Race number 9 at Belmont. I am on the 6 Cloud Walker, and Scotty is on.
I'm on the 7 full side with Slim, right?
Full side with Slim. Yes.
Okay.
Correct.
And now in Gulfstream 6, who did I have?
Gulfstream 6. You have the.
1.
I have the 8, and were you
I
on
have
Miss?
the 1.
Oh, no deliberation. The 1. You were on the 1.
Okay. Race number 7 at Gulfstream.
Race number 7 at Gulfstream. I am on the 7 Lace Up.
I'm on the 1.
Oh, you're on the 1. Whatever will be, will be.
Yep. Okay. And then race number 8 at Gulfstream, please.
Race number 8 at Gulfstream. I'm on the 2 Artorian. And you were on one of the closers. The 1 of the 6. Welcome back or deflection.
Was it the 8 or was it the 6? It
Oh,
was
Roscoe
the 6.
Village?
No,
The
it
6.
was the 6, wasn't it? Yeah, it was the
Yeah.
6.
Mhm.
Okay. And then race number 9.
Race number 9 at Gulfstream Park. I'm on the 5 Mikasa. You're on the 3. Just take notes. I switched from Mikasa to Barbara. So I'm on Barbara and you're on
That's
just
right.
take notes.
Barbara. Okay. So
That's
now
nice.
we just have the 2 races at Laurel Park. All right. So race number 8. And what do you think?
Yeah, I'll make it quick. I was on the number 10, dropping lemons, stalking the outside post, has speed, probably could go wire to wire or stalk that other speed. Love
Okay.
Saga, who has no chance to win. So I was all over the 10 here. I don't want a second pick there.
Okay. David, the 10. And, you know, one of the things I like to do is sort the EE morning or sort the odds makers morning line, look at the EE morning line. And so like Minari, you got a price play. It's 18% to win. It's the EquinEdge long shot. When you run the simulator, the horse is right there, you know. So a lot of times when you do that, you can kind of separate like a little line here. So probably 2, 3, 5, 10, 12. One of those is going to win the race.
Right.
Right. And you look at the 3 horse, and it's 20 to 1, Love Saga, but I mean, its form is just too bad to believe. I no matter what, I don't think I could take a horse like that. So I'll throw that horse out. I don't like the 13. And I'm going to get rid of the 4, 7, 8, and 6. So for me, it's going to be one of these horses, sort the EE morning lines. You usually want to take the higher one of them is what you want to do.
Right.
That's really what you're supposed to do because you want to get prices. So I look at this horse. It was claimed and for 25,000 in for 37.5 and you know, this 2 horses broke bad in both starts and then rushed up and then dueled. Really good GSR. I think I've got to probably take audibly looks pretty good too, the 12 horse. You're on the 10. Understandable.
Yes. The 10, let me see. Think to have a good stalking trip here. Hold on a second. Let me just see what other notes I have. Yeah, stretching out for the first time. This horse should be right on the lead, if not on the lead, stalking that 3. Yeah, to me, that's the logical horse. Drops down a little bit. Second race off the layoff. Lemon Drop Kid should be able to handle the distance.
All right, I'm going to take the 12 horse, 5 to 2 on the EE morning line, second EquinEdge pick. I'm going to take the 12.
Okay.
12.
And
I like the 2 a bit as well, but I'm going to take that. And then, all right, so we have Laurel race number 9.
okay, I'll make it quick because we have less than 2 minutes. I am on the 3 Vance Scholars with the scratches, Brilliant Ice, and the 1. I think these horses take turns beating each other, and the other, my secondary would be Accelerator, who's 9 for 23 lifetime. Just a hard-hitting horse for Jamie Ness. But I'm going to go with a little bit of a higher price. Won't be much of a price now with the scratches. Vance Scholars. 3 over the 1.
So you're on the 3 Vance Scholars.
Field stepping on the turf course, now approach the gate.
You want me to put the volume up on
Yeah. Go ahead.
Aqueduct?
Yeah.
That way we can hear it. It's behind your feed, so it's up to you.
Yeah, mine is ahead, isn't it? The GSR and the 6 horse goes way up, but the form is just too bad to believe. Second off the layoff. Schultz is 16%. But usually they fire first time out. Boss Logic, 13 wins. I mean, this horse likes to win.
Field set to load. It's post time. Start of the pick 6.
I'm gonna take the EquinEdge top pick. Just is it really
Boss Logic?
12 to 1 on the odds makers morning line. Yeah, I'm gonna try that.
You probably get 7 or 8 to 1 after the scratch of Brilliant Ice.
Yeah.
So you're all locked in. You got your picks in.
It looks like
Because
I
they're
do.
now, yeah, they're loading in,
Yep.
and you're ahead of me, so they might be
Okay.
off by now.
Yeah. No, they're not off. Here, I'll go ahead and I'll put the sound on.
Okay, you put the sound because you're ahead.
Yeah.
And
One
I'm
more to
on.
load.
Yeah, I'm on the 1. I've got 17 more to load here. It's like then no one's gonna get- I don't know
I'm
how.
on the 5 horse to go gate to wire, and you're on
The 1.
on the 1.
I'm on the 007 horse.
All right.
James
So
Bond.
unfortunately for me, the 4 horse went. The 5 really needed to clear, and the jockey. No, see, I don't like that. I wish the jockey would just go. Don't screw around. Okay, not too bad. Unfortunately, the 4 horse
Right, they're off.
cost the 5 late. The 5 dropped down to 5 to 2. So he has to do a really good job of trying to get this 5 to relax right now after dueling with the 4 early, and that's not easy.
Yeah, the 5 looks like it's drawing off here, huh? Gotta get my 1 up for second.
None of the horses really like to close, so but the 5 dueled early, and that could cost him late, but we'll see. Seems to have some horse. Speed is so dangerous going 5.5 furlongs,
Yep.
Remember we talked about this 2 horse being in the money? We talked about this, coming from behind and being in the money. I want to look at that. So 5 horse does go gate.
All right, the 2, yeah.
We talked
The 2
about
got second.
The 2 got second at 25 to 1. We were talking
Yeah,
about
we
that.
talked about that. Yep.
Yeah, right. Look, finishing. Right. Look at this. Like, not many of them are finishing, and the 2 was finishing. Also, the GSR was going from 47 to 58. And we talked about this. I almost used that horse because you liked that horse.
Yeah, I liked it a little bit. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And Mike,
And,
yep.
Yeah,
That's
25 to 1. So that's gonna
blow
if
up
you
the
use
board.
the 2 horse, it's gonna be similar to what you're gonna get for the 5 horse, most likely.
No, you'll probably get more on the 2 for place.
Maybe even a little bit more. Yeah.
Right.
25 to 1. The 5 horse ended up going off as your 5 to 2 second choice. There was something about that 9, wasn't there? There just was, right? That we just didn't trust, huh?
Yeah, I didn't trust that horse really much. Yeah, yeah.
And remember, we said this when you run the simulator. Let's just say you think you could beat the 9, and you do that, and then we saw this. And look at all those prices right there.
Mhm.
Like amazing, right? And that's exactly what we saw. And the 5 horse, though, the thing is if you have lone speed, then that's going to move you up a little bit more. And that's exactly what happened there. And then here comes the 2 at 25-1. That exacta, David, it's got to be nice. 5,
Oh yeah,
2, $51. I'd be disappointed with that, honestly. You
that's
have
for $1. Yeah.
yeah, but I'm still like that should be more like 50 cents. Like, why aren't you getting $100 for that? I don't know.
Yeah, I know. Well, the 5 took a ton of money, but yeah. Well, the thing is too, we talked about the 2 Wind Dancer. Throw out that last race on a sloppy track. This horse is turf, and if you look at it, this again, there's only a couple horses that have just been strictly maiden special weights, and that was one of them. And figured would be closing, and basically second time on the turf and blinkers, so showed a little more. Was a little closer to that, but yeah, and it got the perfect trip up the rail.
Yeah. Well, good luck the rest of the way. Good luck, everybody.
Okay.
The rest of the way.
Good luck, everybody. Good luck, everybody. Hopefully, you get some qualifiers. Good luck. Get some tour points, Scotty. And enjoy the rest of the weekend, everybody. And just a reminder, we'll be on tomorrow from 1:30 till 6ish. And I will be on from 1:30 to 4 tomorrow on the
stretch run show.
Yep. So,
all right. Well, I'll be watching, and don't forget McKanja running at Belmont tomorrow. $350,000 race. She's going to be on the lead. That I have no doubt. So we'll see what happens. Yep. Let's see if she can relax going 11 furlongs. If she can, you could get a nice price there. So. All right, everybody, have a really nice weekend. Stay safe. Thanks for joining in, and we will see you tomorrow on the stretch run.
Yeah, thanks for